Basketball season is here. We're live in Sioux Falls for Summer League Basketball Media Day. A full show begins right now.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Izzo.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good morning, everybody, from Sioux Falls in the Premier Center, where in a few short months we'll crown a Summer League champion. Basketball season takes center stage on this Tuesday morning. For the third year, we are back for Summer League Basketball Media Day for a full day as we get ready for another season. And I believe at least I know for the second year in a row, we have the heaviest of heavy hitters to start our program. One, North Dakota State men's basketball head coach David Richman joining us. Thank you for batting leadoff today. We appreciate that.
You guys screwed it up again. You should have me last because it's all downhill.
Come on, man. This viewership ratings as high as they can get right now, right?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. My focus right now is on nothing more than my posture.
It's good.
Well, it's really good because I'm focused on it. I did a podcast the other day, and my posture
Whoa, you did a podcast?
Yeah,
Holy cow.
I'm big time.
Yeah, you are big time. And?
Not only am I on the Dom Izzo show, I do podcasts. It was great.
It's great to see you. Well,
so
we did this a couple years ago, the first one.
Yeah.
It's only gotten bigger and better. Tell me about this as you've been practicing for a couple weeks, but the unofficial real tip-off to basketball season.
Yeah, we, Damari and Noah and I had breakfast this morning with AK and Avery and Jory, and we were talking about it. This is great. It gets that buzz and excitement, especially for the student athletes. Yeah. It's a terrific way to start talking about some basketball. And I'm a huge football guy. You know that. And we're in the heart of football season, which is great. But basketball is right around the corner.
Yeah.
And we need to start telling the stories and the narratives to be heard. And this is a great way to do it. Really appreciative of Josh and Mindy Kay and the Summit League staff of putting on events like this and creating some atmosphere and exposure to the league.
Yeah, you're playing a game a week from Thursday.
Yeah.
So, talk about basketball season. It's here. It's not down the road. So we visited a couple weeks ago on the opening day of practice. You're 2 weeks in. Give me your thoughts on how practice has gone so far.
Even when you say that, I get goosebumps. Like, I love this group.
Yeah.
I do. Maybe it's a little bit more of a Dave Richman group from on the court. Now, we had a fun group last year, and we won 21 games, which is terrific, and some major wins and some things like that. But, this is a deep, physical, athletic group that's really fun to be around. They've come in and embraced our culture. When I say they, the 9 new guys, our 5 guys that were with our program last year have done a terrific job of setting the tone, the standards of what it's all about. And it's really been a real joy and excitement to go to practice every day. I question maybe after our first 3 days, Dom, just how tough we were, if we were mean enough. And we reset after that third day and had some real specific conversations. Guys have responded. The end of the first week, all last week, we had another one on Sunday. The competitive spirit is really there. I think we have a chance to be better defensively, rebounding the basketball. Now it's just about the little things, executing, taking better care of the ball, finding shots. What's our gaps look like? Just, little things that we need to continue to grow with.
I know when you were in studio with me a couple weeks ago, we talked about defensively, and I know you've made your bread and butter on that. How much did that give you the heebie-jeebies last year? Okay, we're shooting the heck out of the ball, but we're just not defending at a rate where I want to be.
Yeah, you go back and you do the numbers, and we defended okay first shot, but we didn't rebound. And again, when we're going to put it out there that we're a program based on tough together, that to me is defined by rebounding, and that was the disappointing part. We didn't finish possessions, and so we have a group that has the makeup to do those things. I think the other thing you're going to see is we challenge our guys to have some fun playing defense. And you're starting to see that where we're flying around. We will create more turnovers. We will create more offense from our defense this year, and we have to, and I think that'll be a part of our success.
So I know we're on to next year, but being back on this floor, I think of the game in the Summer League tournament last year. Andy Stefanowicz, it wasn't his coming out party because he had moments last year, but what did you see in that game a postseason game to say, okay, we can take this into this season?
So we have another kid in our program right now, Riley Massey. Riley's a freshman. I could not be more proud, impressed with how Riley's come in, but Riley's a freshman, right? And so when we've had meetings, I've always had Andy in with Riley to say, here's what Andy did last year. And some games he would play, some he wouldn't play at all, some he would play a little bit longer and all that. But what Andy did is he keeps showing up every day in practice, and he challenged himself. And towards the end of the season when he was called on, like he wasn't just called on, he executed. And it was really fun to see on this stage.
And the way he played, just him, Tracy Anderson, two guys you had to have step up in a game where basically you had 7 guys and you and the coaching staff on the bench. Was that something positive to say, okay, we can build around this going forward?
Well, I sure hope so. And again, we make so much talk about the 9 new guys, and they're great. But to have Trayson back, to have Andy back, to have Damari back. Damari has had success on this court
right here,
and that's a big thing when you talk about experience. Noah Feddersen is. And I'll say this: Noah Feddersen has finally really started to turn the corner, and Noah has always been a nice guy, a good guy, and that's great for 75% of the time. When we get on the court, you can't be like that. And he's starting to own that mentality every day in practice, and so those guys are great to build on, and they have experience here, and that's going to be big as we go down the stretch here this year.
The other guy, Damari, I want to talk about. I know you were in studio about this. You were telling me last year on the show that he was killing you guys in practice. To have that, I don't know if it's a luxury, but a guy who's played for 2 years, he's playing a ton of minutes. Is that just a seamless transition for him back into the lineup?
No, I mean, I think it's naive of me to think it's going to be seamless. Right now, he's been pretty damn good. But when we go against Oregon State or Minnesota here next week, there's going to be some rust. I'm well aware of that. If there's not, perfect, great, let's hit it running. I think the nice thing that's a really nice luxury is, a football coach is going to talk about their quarterback. Baseball coach is going to talk about their starting pitching and their shorts. You know where I'm going with this is that I think we have 2 really good point guards in both Damari and Andy. The other thing that we've messed around with is playing those guys a little bit together. And because of how physical and how athletic and how Damari can defend, what he might lack in size, his physicality, his athleticism, his competitive spirit, you can do some things with those guys and too. So it's been a good luxury for us, and hopefully that continues.
The headline names, Dave, when you're adding your roster in the spring, Max Marley comes up, obviously the last name, and we've talked about that, but Max is a player that's played a couple stops. You saw him in the JUCO ranks last year. How has his transition gone to say, we can rely on this guy coming year?
I'm going to lump a bunch of these guys together here real quick. So you got Max Marley, you got Travion Carson, you got Emil from Sac State, you got Mark Kai, who's bounced around a little bit. Very great kids, very individually talented young men that have embraced our culture to say, I need to do these little things to become a better basketball player. And there's a big difference in being a very individually talented basketball player and being a team player that's a part of a winning program. And I say this, every team, including bad teams, has a leading scorer. And what do you want to be? What do you want to be? Exactly. So, Max and all of those guys have done a terrific job of saying, I need to have some hunger and humility here that I need to take some ownership of why my program wasn't great last year, or why this is my second or third school a little bit. And I have no problem saying those things, right? There's a reality, and that's what I'm most proud of our culture with Jason Miller's sets, with some of those things, is we do the little things that it takes to win.
Travion and Max came from winning programs last year. Can that translate to the Division I level?
I sure hope so. Travion Carson's a winner. I mean, he won state championships in high school. He's been to the national tournament back-to-back year, and you could see that. Travion Carson, I'm not going to hide behind it. The kid can play. Now, again, do we know there's going to be a JUCO to Division I adjustment? Absolutely, but that kid can go, and I think that's a big part of it. That's a thing that we're working with E and Mark High on. Last year their teams didn't have great success, and what do they want from their last year of college basketball? Right? Is this just about them? That's pretty short-sighted. If they're going to embrace us, and it's amazing what can be accomplished when no one cares or gets the credit, bright things are coming for them as well.
I want to ask you a big picture about where college basketball is going, and don't have your head explode on that. But the players in this league that were added are coming from those ranks, from the Division II, from the junior college ranks, rather than a lot of drop-downs from the Power Four. Is that the best way in your mind to build a roster?
Well, I've thought a lot about this. I've talked to a lot of coaches, and and I won't name names or programs, but they've got
come on,
three transfers, right, at one position. You got a Big 12, you got an ACC, and you got this NAIA kid.
Yeah.
Who are they most excited about?
The NAIA
kid.
Yeah.
Right? And so what I think what I'm getting to is if you can play, you can play.
Yeah.
If you're a winner, you're a winner. And if you're willing to do the little, there's no freaking secrets in life. There's not. and I think that's part of the problem with society is us, our generation, we coddle these kids and we do all these things and we tell them, but when you coach them, or more importantly, you have kids that want to be coached, there's something really special to that.
How do you feel with the title of the Dean of the Summit League coaches? How does that suit you?
Oh, I'm old, right? I got my readers.
You got your readers with you.
Readers. I get up now early, and my workout consists of a half hour of core workout now, just so I can
just
move.
Getting out of bed is your is a workout, right?
It is what it is. Yesterday we combined the coaches meetings with the women, so AJ was in there too.
Okay,
he trumps me by double. By double. But I tell you what, I'm at a special place, and this is a great league, doing some things like this that are moving forward. So I'm excited.
New coach obviously in Brookings, new coach in Denver, new coach in Tulsa. Describe that of getting to know the new guys and tell them when you meet in the summer about some obviously know the league, but others are, hey, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, it's different. Obviously I know Tim from being over at Moorhead. I've known Bryan for being there, and he's had success in the junior college ranks. I don't know Corey very well at ORU, and met him yesterday for the first time, but that's where I'll leave it, right? It's a little bit like Sam Getzinger's question to me about Moorhead. I really give a about one program.
Oh, man. When you look, you mentioned with the Gopher game coming up next week. Obviously you're going out to win the game every time. What do you want to see out of your basketball team next?
I want to see how we handle the environment. I want to see us play basketball the way we play basketball in practice, right? And that's really keeping it that simple. Yep. If we're going to play a league game today, which we're not, the rotation would be a little shorter. It's an opportunity to get a bunch of guys out there, and I think you have a certain expectation of how a guy is going to carry over from practice to games, and that might be one way or another. Someone might take a jump up under the lights, someone might take a step back, and that's the beauty of a little bit of being in a one-bid league where we do we're out there to win every damn game, make no mistake about it, but we do have a little bit of time in particular. That's why I like these exhibition games under the lights against a Big Ten school where you see what a couple of our guys are all about.
I was going to say for the other exhibition game, which we're going to have on Extra against the Dragons, after that, is that when roster decisions are made in terms of, hey, we're thinking this is the amount of guys we're going to play this season?
Yes, but I think I'm more open to just, you play guys. I think, again, transparent Dave here is Dom Clay. Dom Clay is a very talented freshman, and one day he looks like one of the better players in the gym, and one day he looks like Dom Izzo might get him. There's those things that you want to play out throughout the course of the season and see what guys look like under the lights, and that's a little bit the beauty of this group too, Dom. I'll be honest with you, today there's 12 kids that are getting highly, highly evaluated out of our 14 roster spots to see who can play, and that's great because that internal competition every day, as long as it's healthy, we talk about healthy, desperate competition every day. That's just making everybody better.
What's the deepest rotation you could remember having on a team? I was trying to think of that the other day.
I was thinking about just as quick as you said it would be 2019, and we brought Jordan. Yeah, we brought Jordan Horn back into the rotation late, and I believe we were playing 9-10 guys, in the Summit League tournament, and.
That worked out.
It did, and I think that's the other fun part about this day and age of college basketball is you're flying by the seat of your pants a little bit and embracing some things.
All right, last thing before we get you out of here. It looks like we're going to go to 76 teams in 27 for the NCAA tournament. What do you make of that? Because I don't believe a second team is coming out of the Summit League, though, unfortunately.
Just don't mess with the tournament.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the tournament. There's a lot of volatility going on in our game. There's a lot of different things happening. Eligibility years and portal and NIL and all these things. It is so much fun right now, Dom, to be in season and to fall into that rhythm and routine and to know what you're chasing at the end of it.
Right.
Now, as soon as it's over, right, all whatever breaks loose. But I love the tournament, and I do think there is something about being exclusive as possible, and you start to expand that. That being said, if you can create a little bit more room for people to experience that euphoria, that joy, I'm all for it.
I hope you gave us your best stuff. Everybody, because you got a bunch of other interviews here that we got the best out of you today, right?
I only have my best all the time. Hey, I do want to say this, and I don't care who's listening, as you know. The way you guys, Bison 1660, I know it's right here, but the way Fargo comes down here and represents, Dom, it is big time. And it's
Appreciate
very,
that.
very, very appreciative by myself and Jory and in our programs.
Great to see you, my man. Thanks for
Thank
leading
you,
us
guys.
off, all right?
Appreciate you.
We'll talk to you soon, okay? David Richman joining us here to lead off things on Hot Mic here at Summit League Media Day. We come back, we'll talk to two of Dave's players. Noah Feddersen, Damari Wheeler-Thomas will stop by. We come back live to Sioux Falls after this. Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic live on location in Sioux Falls on Summit League Basketball Media Days. We get ready for a new season. North Dakota State men will play a exhibition game a week from Thursday at the University of Minnesota. We got two of the guys on the team joining us, junior Damari Wheeler-Thomas and junior Noah Feddersen joining us this morning. Great to see you both. You're the old hat. You did this before. What'd you tell Damari about how to get ready for today?
Yeah, just stay cool. We've done this a lot of times, after games or before games. So,
tell me about this whole experience. We haven't had a chance to talk about coming back. So let's just start with last year, because we talked right before the season about the whole process of either deciding to redshirt, rehab, and sit out the year.
I feel like redshirting would have been like the best thing for us as a team and me personally, since I wasn't there ready to play for the team this year. But
how difficult was that? Because I know you battled this injury since basically you got to Fargo.
Yeah, it was hard at first, but the coaches kept me right in the mind, and the trainers helped me get right back to it. So yeah.
So I know Dave was telling me, Noah, by, February, that Damari was killing you guys in practice. Tell me about that at the end of last season.
No, he definitely was. I'm definitely excited this year to be playing with him and not against him the whole year. So, I'm really excited to be back playing with him.
Did transferring, did that ever enter your mind last year? Like, I don't know, this is a long time to wait out. Tell me, what much of a mental hurdle was last year?
It was more just me, staying where my feet are and knowing I wanted to come back and play for us here with the Bison and, getting us to a championship win.
We were just visiting off air. The last time you played a game was on this court, the Summit League tournament a couple years ago. Does it feel a little surreal to be back here and going, okay, my return to the court is coming pretty darn soon?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to feel weird when I first get out there, but, right back to it, though. Right back to it.
For people that don't know, tell us about the injury. What happened, and this is even before you got to Fargo or when you got to Fargo?
Yeah. Right when I got to Fargo, I had a little fracture in my leg once I was here playing, and I had to get surgery. And I got a rod inserted into my leg. Still there now. I've been battling it for a while, off and on, but I'm good now.
So just basically you needed rest off of it. Is that the best way to explain it?
Yeah, pretty much just rehabbing and resting, and then I was able to just gradually increase stuff and increase it more and more.
So when did you feel like yourself last year? Was it about then in February?
Yeah, it probably was about February. Yeah, it probably was.
So the anticipation's got to be through the roof then for you to be back out here and getting a chance to play again. Because, people forget because it's just the way it works. You played, you were a starter for 2 years and didn't play last year.
Yeah, I'd say it was definitely something, but I'm definitely excited to be back with my boys and we're ready to get out there.
What kind of difference maker can he be? People have such a short-term memory in sports, knowing that they forget Damari was such a great player for you guys for 2 years.
Yeah, for sure. It's even crazy. We've been together for now this is our 4th year, and we've only played 1 year together, because my redshirt year and then his redshirt year last year. But he's definitely a difference maker, and I think you really see it on both ends of the floor. He can clamp up the other team's best guard, and then also on the offensive side, he's so quick and he has such good vision.
Dave was telling me the transition for you, it's basically like from Bruce Banner to the Hulk. We know you're a nice guy, but we need you to be the Hulk on the floor. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we've definitely had a lot of talks about my mentality, onto the floor, because, like you said, I am a nice guy off the floor. But
which is fine.
Yeah, being able to flip that switch once we get on the court has been a big emphasis this offseason.
Where have you seen that transition for Noah?
I've seen it really all summer. Once him and Dave had them conversations, you can just see Noah in practice looking like a better player every single day, and I love that for him.
For you last year, it seemed like you had fits and starts where there'd be games like you'd be out there dominating, other games where teams would take you out. How frustrating was that to not be as consistent as you wanted to be?
Yeah, it was definitely just a matter of, trying to find my role on both sides, but also mainly in the offense, playing in a spot where I wasn't super comfortable playing, but trying to find a way to be comfortable playing in that spot. And so, honestly, this year I'm feeling really comfortable going into the season, being back at that 5 spot, playing up top.
Tell me how different this is, boys, from last year where it was the 3-point pies and you guys were shooting nonstop. This is going to be a different team. Describe that transition of how you're going to play this year.
I feel like we still got, a team to where we can really get up a lot of threes and make a lot of threes, but we also have those that can get to the rim and create for others more than we had for last season's team,
Did that take you out of it a little bit because of how offensively you guys played last season, in your opinion?
I wouldn't say so. I would say, like you said, we still have that capability to do that, but also, the length and size and athleticism we have this year, it's really going to help us get inside more, and that's just going to open things up for us overall.
I got to ask, for you guys being two of the returners, Andy being back, Carson being back, Trayson being back, how much are you guys unofficially the leaders because you've been in the program for a bit? Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Me and him were the only ones that have been here for longer than a year. Them three, just only a year. So, those first couple weeks that all these guys got up here in the summer, showing them around, showing them how we do things, it was definitely a big moment.
Would you remember an eye-opening moment when you were here as a freshman to show, hey, this is what Bison basketball is about?
Yeah. I say it's really just like talking them through a bunch of things and stuff like that. And with Carson and them coming back, that group, they already kind of understood how things were going. So it really was with the new guys, getting them under our wing and bringing them on.
All right, for basketball fans going to see you guys play for the first time next week, give us a couple of the new guys. Who stood out like, okay, these are players you're going to need to know come November and December?
I honestly say all the new guys that we brought in. Yeah, the coaching staff did really, really good with bringing in the new guys, and they're not just good basketball players, they're good people as well. But I say all of them, honestly.
For people that don't know how the meet and greet works on when the guys are transferring, how much are you guys involved? Are the coaching staff bring the returners in and say, hey, we're thinking about adding this guy? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, a little bit. They might bring him up, show us some film maybe, but then we'll meet them on a visit, get to be around them for a day or two, and then after that you're kind of just waiting for their decision to see if they're going to commit or not.
Max Marley gets a lot of attention. Obviously his last name, his dad was an NBA All-Star. What kind of player is he, and how can he help you guys this coming year?
Yeah, he's definitely a very dynamic player. You can see it with his athleticism. I think he probably got some from his dad. But he's also very crafty, around the rim, and also a really good shooter.
Damari, tell us about, Dave was telling me about Travion Carson. What stood out about him coming from the junior college ranks that he can come in and help you guys?
I really feel like TC caught me off guard. I didn't know what to expect from another JUCO guy, but he really stood out for us this summer and spring, And I think he can do everything, from scoring. He's also one of those guys that can create for others, and he's a really good defender as well.
Dave was just telling us about a couple of freshmen, and Dom Clay and Riley Massey, which, again, you guys were in this boat just a couple years ago. What is that transition like, and can they come on and be impact guys for you as freshmen?
Yeah, I think they definitely can. I've really been surprised and, pleasantly surprised with just their mentality coming into things. They're freshmen, but they're not afraid of anything. They got that dog mentality that coach loves, so I think they can definitely make an impact.
So 2 years ago, your freshman year, you guys played in the Summit League championship game. The last 2 years, it's been one and done down here. How, I guess I know the answer to this, but how much you want to say, okay, this is a place where we've had past success, we can make a run in March?
Well, obviously very bad. We want to be able to do that, and as the staff and us players know we've been one and done the last 2 years, and we don't want nothing like that happening again. So it all started in this summer up to this fall, and we're going to make sure we do it right.
I remember showing up here last year for the game with USD and seeing, obviously, I knew you weren't playing. I didn't know Jakari wasn't playing. I didn't know Jackson wasn't playing. I didn't know you were hurt as well. How surreal was that for that game last year down here?
Yeah, I think that was just crazy timing. Obviously everybody probably thought everybody was healthy and fine and we were going to come out and, but yeah, it was just crazy time with everything, and it just went how it went.
So describe, when did you get hurt? Was it prior to obviously it was prior to the South Dakota game?
So it was actually during the South Dakota game.
The regular season game?
Yeah,
when Jakari got hurt too?
Yep.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So. What were you playing with that night?
So I had...
was it a fracture as well?
It was a fracture. I dove over our bench, tried to save a ball, and ended up landing on the ground with my wrist and fractured it.
When you guys, and you played as well as you did, how... I wouldn't say devastating. Well, I guess what's the right way to describe a loss like that last year in the tournament?
Yeah, it definitely was devastating, having those injuries going in. But, I was really proud, even though we lost, with the way that we fought. And, the guys that stepped up who hadn't played a lot during the season but were able to step up and impact the game.
I got to ask you, Damari, about having Andy back and maybe you guys playing together at the same time. Because it seems you both are point guards. How does that work?
I'd say it'll work fine. You know, we both can play the 1 and the 2, and he can really shoot it. That's something that a lot of people may not know. He can really shoot the ball well from 3. So I think with our staff, we probably want to do both in that once and then both playing together at the same time as well.
How do you feel about that? About, okay, if I'm going to be on the floor, I'm maybe not ball handling all the time. How different is that for you?
It's pretty much like the same thing. I'd be playing 1 and the 2, you know what I mean? And like this last spring when I was hurt and not playing with the team, that's really what I was doing, 1 and the 2, getting used to stuff like that.
When you see Andy come out and play like he did here, how much confidence is that for you guys? Say, okay, he's done it on the biggest stage we have.
Yeah, definitely a ton. And I think, you know, you could see it throughout the whole season, you know, just the way that he grew. And then this last game, he really showed it all to everyone.
Next week, it's Minnesota. This is not, you know, easing into the schedule. Describe that. I've got a chance to play a Big Ten team at an exhibition next week.
I think it's a good way to start the season off for us, you know. After that, we got MSU, another exhibition. But, you know, we just take it just like a regular game, you know, come into it ready to play and get a win.
I got to ask, you guys look at the schedule when it comes out? You pay attention to that at all? Like, you know what? Tell me when to show up, and that's who I'm ready to play.
I think we definitely do look at it a little bit. You know, look at the teams we're playing, the places we're going, things to get excited for in the future. But also, you know, you want to stay present and be ready for those games.
Oregon State off the top. What do you make of that, of playing a Pac-12 school to start the year?
Yeah, that'll be fun. You know, definitely another great opportunity to play a really good team. And like we saw last year, we're able to compete with those teams.
When you look at, especially those opportunities of playing the high majors, how much, obviously the Summit League is where your bread is buttered, but getting a chance, like you guys did against Butler last year, to be on the big stage and play those games, how exciting is that?
I'd say it's definitely exciting because you can show that the Summit League teams can play with teams like that, you know, and that's really much all it is.
Last thing before I let you guys go, how, in the recruiting world is so small, how much do you know the other guys in the league? Like, either from high school, AAU days. Is there a lot of crossover with guys here?
I mean, I think sometimes there is, but honestly, this year, like, seeing a lot of the guys, I didn't know a lot of the faces.
Really?
So it's with all the transfers and stuff, it can be crazy.
How about for you? Same thing?
I know a lot.
It's great to see you, boys. Thanks so much for coming by. Good luck this year. We can't wait to see it. We're going to have the game with the Dragons coming up on the 23rd. Appreciate the time today, all right, boys? Damari Wheeler-Thomas, Noah Feddersen joining us on the Bison men's basketball team. Again, NDSU has its exhibition opener next Thursday with the Gophers. We'll break. We come back. Jory Collins, NDSU women's basketball head coach, coming up. We come back on Hot Mic right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on live on location here at the Premier Center in Sioux Falls on Summit League Basketball Media Day. Our guy Jory Collins joins us, North Dakota State women's basketball head coach. The Bison women picked second in the Summit League preseason poll, which I know how much you love polls. First off, I'll rip the Band-Aid off right now. How are you doing after last night? Tough night for your Chiefs last night.
Ourselves in the foot, man. Penalties. Could have won that game in 50 different ways, and then they find a way to lose it. I couldn't have been more disappointed.
That's unlike
it's going to be one of those
football,
years,
right?
It's going to be one of those years. Just going to have to tough it out.
You know, I remember a couple years ago, everybody counted you out, and you end up winning the whole thing. So, you know, that worked out okay.
I still believe.
I forgot also, last time you were on, congratulations to you and your fam. Your son, Jet, going to go play baseball at Hutchinson Community College, which is big time. Congrats on that.
Yeah. No, thank you. It's he's been working hard at it and get himself
Were you
an
a baseball guy?
I was not a baseball guy, which I think that's why he chose baseball. It's because he's like, you can't tell me anything about this. So, you know, I just cheer him on. And he's probably really smart about that.
Well, part of that Horace team that is just loaded out there with Case and Borkart, your son, I know how much fun you have during the spring just to go out and watch him play.
Yeah, they have a pretty special group in their class, and you know, Case and obviously you're younger, but you know, that kind of core group they have is some good baseball players in there.
Now, you've been on the other side, obviously, on the other side of the couch recruiting. How was it like to be dad on the baseball side of that?
You know, it was really interesting, and it did feel weird, you know, because usually I'm the one walking kids around and pitching and selling and all those kind of things, and to get to hear it about your own kid was interesting. But it was great. It was a good process, and you made a great choice, and you know, they got great coaches and a great program there, so you're going to learn a lot, get tested, and that's what you want.
It's produced quite a few guys that have gone on to play high major Division I baseball.
Yeah, they got a good program going. It's a great league.
Yeah.
Really talented. Yep. So he'll have his hands full.
All right, so I was up at practice on the first day a couple of weeks ago. You're 2 weeks in. Describe how the first couple of weeks have gone so far.
It's been a fun group. Dom. I was having breakfast with Avery and AK this morning, and they're just kind of like, "Are we farther along, than we usually are at this time?" And I was like, "Yeah, quite a bit." And that's just because we have some experience in returning players. That junior class has been with us now, and sets the tone every day, and they know what the expectations are, and how to manage that, and how to live up to that on a daily basis, and that makes other people have to do that as well. And it's just a really good core group. And I'll even point out, Abby Graham, whose role has been up and down, is playing her best basketball of her career right now in practice. Just looks like a different person, and I think that's just maturity and being comfortable in what we're doing. And you love to see the upperclassmen lead like that. And
you want your seniors to have their best year, right? Their last
100%.
year.
And it's just a great group. I don't have to really worry about what's the effort level going to be like today. Are we ready to practice? It's more, hey, let's get as good as we can today.
I got to be mixed emotions for you this time, sitting at this court this time, in last March. I know how you felt. And then you had the run you did at the WNIT. Is it mixed emotions on how the end of last season went?
Well, for sure. I mean, your goal is to be Summit League champs, and we just, laid an egg in the tournament there, and couldn't have been probably as disappointed as I've ever been in my coaching career. But I couldn't have been more proud of our team to bounce back. I didn't know if they'd even want to play, 2 weeks later in the WNIT or whatever it was. A weekend. That's a long time in between that loss and getting to play again. And what's your emotions like? Can you get yourself fired back up to compete? And we did. And we had a lot of people, when I asked them, I want to play. I want to get back out there. I don't want to finish like that. And I thought we played some of our best basketball for sure. Got to play in the Shack in front of great crowds. And I thought we snatched back momentum for our program, where maybe that was taken away from us a little bit with a bad loss here, but then, kind of gained some more traction just playing well. Late into March.
How big a deal is it to have number 22 back? We're watching some video here of Avery Koenen out there, to have a first-team Summit League player back for her third season.
Yeah, I mean, Avery's, I think I told Dylan this yesterday after practice. We practiced early yesterday morning, and she's dominating right now in our practices. There's really no other way to say it. I mean, when she wants the ball now, she's asking for it. She's getting good position. She's so much more physical and just much more of a presence than she's ever been. And it's a great weapon for us to have, and we feel like we got a lot of people around her that will you're going to have to pick your poison, that we have multiple weapons to not really key on her so much. And but I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her growth. From coming in from a freshman in a small town, eyes wide, as a young player, to really focused up right now and a leader on our team, and really a go-to player.
We're seeing video of Jossie Schiller as well, which for local fans, Jory, they're going to draw obviously to her and what she did last year at UND. What is her role envisioning, at least before the season gets going on this year's team?
Well, she's going to have a big role, Dom. She's going to help us win a lot of games. She's going to play on the ball, off the ball. We really kind of have a three-headed monster at the point guard, if you wanted it to be, with Molly, Jossie, and Marissa Frost.
Yeah. How do you do that, by the way? I'm not a great basketball mind.
Well,
how do you play all three?
Well, we will. They're all going to play together because they play well together. We're pretty fast.
Yep.
We're able to pressure the ball pretty good when those three are out there. They let us do a lot of things, with their quickness and speed. The thing I'd say about Jocelyn that's been so impressive is she's just a winner. She's just a playmaker, whether it's for herself or for a teammate. Just action happens, when she's in the game, and more often than not, it's the really right play, the right decision, the right pass, the right shot. And so, just adding somebody that you describe probably just as a winner, that never hurts.
You've been trying to get fast for, I think, your entire time you've been head coach at NDSU. You feel like you're there where you want to be?
I do. The sweet, we need length, and you need, if you can be big, long, and fast, I mean, that's how you want to build a basketball team. You don't get to pick them like that, just, off of a tree like you wish you could. We're definitely a faster team than we've ever been, as far as just people that can change into the floor, get up and down, and that's with and without the ball. I think, freshman Carrington Asp at 6'2", she's might be our fastest player on the team.
Wow.
Avery's right there. And Jossie, Riz, and Molly are 15, 20-yard sprint kids, and our workouts are ahead of everybody. And so that just gives you an opportunity. We want to play fast, but, we need our defense to match up to that too. And now, with those guys, we're able to pressure a little bit more, and I hope maybe force some tempo a little bit with defensively that we haven't been able to do either.
We had Carrington on the show last year when she was getting ready to come to Fargo, and we did the story on her on the news about her coming in. How much does she feel like a freshman still after being with the team for 6 months?
In some days, some days, you watch her play and you're like, holy cow, that's unbelievable play.
Yep.
And she can score it at a high level right now. Now, some days she can't guard this camera stand right here. And that's where she's got to get better. And she knows that.
Yep.
But that's even, from the start of this year till, because last year she was on scout team. We didn't ask. I didn't care what she was doing defensively.
But you were telling me as well she was killing you on scout team.
It was hard to guard her. She was hard to guard, no question, and she was easy to score on. So we felt good about what we were doing. And now she's getting there.
Yeah.
So she'll have an impact too. She'll have a chance to come in and just be another big body that can play inside and out. She's a very skilled player, but she's going to bring something different to the table also that fits in nicely.
Tell me about scheduling-wise. I always bug you about this, but getting Gonzaga and Tulane in the non-conference on Friday nights at the Shack can capture that momentum we were talking about what happened last March.
Yeah, I hope so. Those are two good games for obviously Tulane. We started last year, got a home and home with them, and played at their place, and then they're coming back, and then this is the start of a home and home with Gonzaga. So we'll go out there, hopefully pick up another game close by when we make that trip to Washington. But two really good, mid-major programs, and I don't even know if you count Gonzaga as mid-major.
I don't.
I don't either. They're just well-coached teams, and both two different styles that we'll have to play against. But getting them to come on Friday nights before high school basketball starts, I think those could be a couple really good nights in the Shack and a lot of fun.
Last thing before I let you go, and I appreciate the time. I know you don't give a whole lot of attention to preseason poll, but there are people believe you're going to be good this season. How do you handle that with expectation-wise with this team to say, okay, it's out there. We have a blueprint. How do we handle that going into the season?
Yeah, I think the polls are the polls, Dom. I always tell you that. I think our players have high expectations. That's what I care about. I have high expectations for our team, and our players have high expectations for our team. And if we measure up to what we think we should be ourselves, then we're going to have a really good year, because I think the kids in our locker room and practice believe that we're good and that we should go out and win a whole bunch of games this year and be in contention. And I think that's what we're going to do.
It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for the time. All right, good luck this season. We'll see you soon, all right?
Yep, sounds good. Thank you.
Jory Collins joining us, NDSU women's basketball head coach here on Hot Mic. We come back. Avery Koenen, Abby Krzewinski will join us on the Bison women's basketball team. Back on Hot Mic to wrap up hour one right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic live on location here in Sioux Falls on Summit League Basketball Media Day. Big second hour coming. Commissioner Josh Fenton in about 15 minutes. We are pleased to be joined, though, by two of the stars of the Bison women's basketball team. Abby Krzewinski and Avery Koenen join us here this morning. It's great to see you ladies both. I know being back here on this floor, we were visiting off air about a half hour ago. Do you immediately get mad about the Kansas City game from last year?
Yeah, we obviously want to show up this year and kind of have a better run in this tournament than we did, but we're definitely not so mad, but more so excited for what we can do.
I know how emotional you were after the game, but then to have the WNIT run, how do you balance that? That wasn't great here, but it ended on a good note.
Right, yeah, I think you just have to be grateful for how it ended. I thought we did a good job kind of moving on from that. You got to learn from it, but you also got to be able to put it in the past and move on. And I thought we did that, and we did make the most out of our postseason, and it's going to help us a lot this year.
I want to go back to the locker room there, because Jory was just telling me I wasn't sure if any of our players wanted to play after the Kansas City game. How did you feel to say, you know what, maybe we should be done? Can you take me back to that?
Yeah, I think it was definitely tough just coming off of just a hard game. Like, we didn't really think we played our best, but we obviously gave it our all. But just kind of that roller coaster of emotions. But at the end of the day, we all wanted to play another game together, just kind of have one more shot at doing what we know we're capable of.
And we've talked, I know, in the offseason, the atmosphere inside the shack, it just got better and better. From New Mexico State, Washington State, I had people coming to me saying, I haven't been to a Bison women's game in a decade. I'm going tonight. Did you guys feel that as the tournament went along?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it was kind of obvious, like, the fans just kept coming.
Yeah.
And it kept growing each game, and we were super grateful for that. And just to see the amount of community support, hopefully that kind of carries on to this year. I think it's going to be huge.
Well, with Tulane and Gonzaga up for non-conference to start, you guys got to be just jazzed. Like, okay, we're getting these teams, but they're coming to our place.
Yeah, I think we're super excited for that, to get some big teams. And like I said, like Tulane, they didn't get our best.
Yeah.
Gonzaga, that's going to be just a great environment to play and great team to play against, so it'll be fun.
All right, expectations are what they are, but you guys are picked second in the preseason poll. You got a couple first-place votes. You're both back for your third year. How do you handle that, saying on the outside, people think we're going to be pretty good this year?
Yeah, I think we focus a lot just on the inside. Like, we know what we're capable of. We see ourselves every day in practice. We go through it all. And I think, obviously, outside expectations, they get put on us. But I think just us as a team, we've done a good job just collectively coming together and be like, we know what we can do, and let's go execute.
For you as a three-point shooter, and I've talked to you about this, tell me about developing that. Was that something in high school that was there, or that's really blossomed when you got to college?
I think in high school it was there a little bit, not like so much just because we had other smaller people on our team. But I think just in college, like just Jory giving me the opportunity to shoot those, I think it's really just blossomed.
When she's open, is it like I'm running back the other way because I know it's going in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, AK's a great shooter, and she really kind of proved that, especially last year, I thought. And just having someone out there that can shoot from the perimeter is huge for our team.
I know I talked to her after she made a couple threes in the WNIT. What was that experience like of watching Avery go back out and step back beyond the arc?
I love it. I mean, every time she lets it fly, I'm like, you know what? I love it. Like, just it gets the crowd hype. Like, everyone just loves it. I mean, you don't often see, not a big man, but just kind of letting it fly all the time. So why not?
When you have, and we were talking with Jory about this, Carrington's a player that I remember visiting with you guys about, like, okay, she's practicing and how much of an advantage that is. You both played as freshmen, but she got a 6-month head start. How big a deal is that now for her to get on the court with you guys in a couple weeks when you play games?
Yeah, I think it's huge. It's a big confidence builder, and just, coming in, being able to learn our terminology, learning kind of how, our coaches are, just getting to build those relationships with your teammates also is huge. And it's kind of hard coming in as a freshman just to get used to everything. So I think that'll definitely kind of be a good stepping stone for her coming into this year.
You're not sneaking up on anybody this year. We talked about this when I was at practice a couple weeks ago. How do you handle that expectation-wise, knowing, all right, we know 22 is really good, and we got to find a way to stop her?
Yeah, I think just obviously it gives you confidence, but also just knowing, especially this year, my teams, we're great, and we have a lot of potential. We have, Jory was just saying, everyone could be a leading scorer any night, and to know that you have that kind of a support system and teammates that you can lean on, it takes a lot of the pressure off, and just taking it day by day, just being myself, obviously, and just being the best I can be.
How much for you, knowing there are going to be teams that maybe are going to double team her, that I got to be open and make a shot, or Marissa's got to make a shot, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's important that we just support each other on the court, because obviously if someone's getting taken away, like, there needs to be so many other options to happen. And so I think we have a lot of those good options that are available on the court right now, and it'll be exciting just to see who shines and what shines at each moment.
I got to ask how unique it is to you guys. Watched Jossie Schiller play for a couple years. Now she's on your team. Describe that of, like, boy, she was a really good player. Now she plays for us.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, we never thought that it was going to be an option, but obviously her coming to our team, it was quite surprising and exciting. Like, we just loved getting to see her get to know us, get to know the coaches, get to know our system, and she's been a great fit so far. And just seeing, she's super fast, super just quick, and we've just loved seeing her blossom.
How does she change your team? Because, I mean, on the outside, I'm not a great basketball mind, but Molly and Marissa both are point guards. So is she. So can you play all three at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, we've played all three of them at the same time in practice, and they're all capable of kind of knowing different spots too, but just it adds depth for our team. You have Marissa that can go up and guard the ball and stuff, but so can Jossie. She's super fast. Adds a lot to our team for sure.
So Are we in the grind now of practice? Like, okay, it's time. We got to play a game because you guys have an exhibition coming up back here in Sioux Falls at the end of the month. It's like, all right, can we be done, or you enjoying this part right now?
Yeah, I mean, it does get to be kind of a grind at this time of year. Just you're getting back into things. You're learning a bunch. You're putting on a lot of plays and conditioning, obviously. But just kind of trying to focus on the positives and not taking anything for granted and showing up every single day and growing. And it honestly, it has been a lot of fun at practice with our team. Like I keep, like I'm having fun, and we obviously are excited for games. But yeah, just taking it day by day.
A couple minutes left here with AK and AK. You haven't had an exhibition before. Describe that. Like the first couple games, it's been games.
Yeah.
You don't have that this time with Creighton, that you actually have a chance to play a good team, but it doesn't count.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice, especially, I mean, we've never played an exhibition, but also for the younger kids, just kind of getting that game feel, all the routines, everything just down on game day. I think it'll be very beneficial just moving forward, just to kind of throw you in and kind of figure it out.
Yeah, because I remember that was your both first game was against Creighton, right? A couple years ago down here. I mean, that's welcome to the deep end, right?
Yeah.
From what you remember?
Yeah, kind of thrown right into it. And big learning experience.
All right, I got to ask, because it's WNBA finals are going on right now. I love watching Asia Wilson play. Is there a player you guys love to watch outside of Caitlin Clark? Is there one that, hey, I stop and I got to watch her play?
Yeah, I think Nafisa.
Yep.
Yeah, she's pretty fun to watch for sure.
It was a foul, right? Were we all on board with that? That was a foul that happened there a couple weeks ago?
I don't know. No comment.
That's politically correct there. Tell me what we don't know about this basketball team that when you guys get playing, we're going to find out about in a couple words.
I think we're going to find out that everyone's versatile. I think we have a lot of different people that can play a lot of different spots and do a lot of different things for our team, and that's going to really benefit us.
Yeah, for sure. I just basically what she said. You know, we're gonna be a fun team to watch. We're gonna be able to play fast and quick, and we're gonna be sharp, know what we're doing, and I'm just excited to kind of show that to everyone else.
It's great to see you both. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck. Can't wait to see you guys on the court, all right?
Yes, thank you.
Avery Koenen, Abby Krzewinski joining us from the Bison women's basketball team. Home opener coming up on November the 7th when they take on Gonzaga. That'll be live on WDAY Extra. We'll break. We come back. Hour 2 coming. The boss, Josh Fenton, commissioner of the Summit League, right around the bend. Back live to Sioux Falls right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Hot Mic on this Tuesday morning, live on location in Sioux Falls. Beautiful morning in Fargo, beautiful morning in Sioux Falls. We're talking hoops as we're back live here inside the Premier Center, and we've got the man of the hour, Summit League Commissioner Josh Fenton, doing this. We've done this bit now 3 years. I'm holding you to something. You got to break some news on the show today. That's the only way you're coming on the program today. So you got to give me something.
I don't know. I may underwhelm you a little bit here.
We got you for a little bit, so you think about it. It doesn't have to be big or small.
We may need to patch in your dad for some discussion to lighten this thing up a little bit.
All right. Well, let's talk with this, because 2 years ago we were down here, the debut of it. Has this gotten to the point where you wanted to be 3 years in on Media Day?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always small tweaks that we can do here or there, but, you know, support of people like you, the local media in Sioux Falls, kind of the surrounding areas, and then having a little bit more of the national feel with Field of 68, Hurrdat, obviously Midco does a lot. You know, it takes those entities to participate in an event like this to make an event feel and be as great as it is. And so appreciative of you and others for being here. But yeah, I mean, we want it to be a productive experience for coaches and student athletes, and we also want it to be a kind of a bright shining light into the start of the basketball season.
How much is this thing we want? Okay, this is our practice has been going for a couple weeks, but this is the tip-off of basketball season here today.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get to this point, at least in our office, maybe at least in my mind, and we start to think a little bit more about the sport of basketball. Yeah. I mean, the reality is we're still a month away from playing real games, but it's exciting to get to this point, and you start to see other conferences have their media day events around this time, so it's exciting.
All right, I want to ask you, we're going to go off of basketball with your other role now with the Missouri Valley Football Conference. How has that blossomed from its inception a few months ago, and how has that gone so far in the few months?
Well, I think it's been great. I mean, others may think differently. my role as executive advisor, people like to ask me, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a helper. I'm a consultant. No, in all seriousness, just working with Jeff Jackson out of the Valley, and we hired Kyle Grooms as the chief operating officer. He's really running the day-to-day, and he's doing a great job on top of everything. The content creation and distribution is coming out of our office, and so we have a person dedicated to MVFC.
Social media has been really good. I'll tell you that right now. We talked about that in July. It's been really good.
Yeah, so that's been intentional on our side with kind of direction from Kyle and Jeff. And so I think the relationship has been really good and collaborative.
When you look for this role going forward, is this almost organic, like we're kind of finding out for your specific role on a day-by-day of what it can be?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're learning this first year of how to work together, what's the best mode of operations. Like any organization, it's really important to communicate. We have a standing weekly meeting amongst Jeff and Kyle and other people that kind of work in their office and our office on MVFC stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, I think we'll figure it out as we go and probably make tweaks into the future.
All right, so since the last time you and I met, it seems like some realignment has come to a rest with Utah Tech deciding and Southern Utah to the Big Sky next season. The UAC and has settled its a bit. Can you, I guess, as much as you can, how much was the Summit League involved in potentially adding any of those schools?
We were very active in and around discussions about potential future members. I'm not going to get into the who's and the specifics of it, but I think, as I've told you before, we've not shied away from how do we contribute added value to the league through expansion, and so very much involved in those discussions. And there has to be value adds for our side. There has to be obviously value adds on the other side, and at this point in time, we have 9 committed member institutions, but we're still being very aggressive behind the scenes with potential opportunities that could be out there. And so, yeah, I think the world of college athletics and conference alignments and realignments, I don't know that it ever totally sleeps. Commissioners actually would wish it would sleep.
Yeah, right, I bet.
But that's just not the world that we live in. And so, we're looking forward to how do we find ways to strengthen the Summit.
Are you allowed to get frustrated when you think something is going a certain way and then it curves? Like, hey, I think we're on the pathway to maybe adding, and then it goes in a different direction.
Allow? I guess I'm allowed. Is it a good use of energy?
Yeah, I guess maybe that's a better way to phrase it.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Again, people are making decisions for what they feel is in the best interest of the institution, or the conference is making a decision for what's in the best interest of the conference. And so, yeah, I mean, I suppose it can be a little frustrating at times because you feel as though that you're on a path to something,
right,
and it doesn't materialize in that way. But again, we feel like we're in a really good spot. I mean, I invite you into our conference membership meetings with our presidents, and they would go around the room like they do every time and say, hey, we've got a great set of institutions that are committed. We align in a lot of unique ways, academically and athletically, and so we're in a great spot. And so we're looking for the opportunity or opportunities that can add value to what we think is a good committed 9 institutions.
Since the last time we talked as well, it was announced that the Summit League tournament is going to stay here in Sioux Falls at least through 2029. I know other cities were up. How far down the road did you get with potentially looking elsewhere for this basketball tournament?
Well, we went through a bid process going back to the summer of 2024. We had a basketball kind of tournament committee that helped us look at this, plus other things related to the tournament. Back to when Western Illinois left the league, we had to adjust the format. We adjusted the day structure to start on Wednesday, finish on Sunday. All of that kind of went through the committee. And then the last thing the committee did was kind of help us usher through where we are, kind of at least into the short-term future with the tournament. And so the summer of 2024 was a bid process where we had engagement with a few different markets. And ultimately, Sioux Falls put forward the best bid in a kind of combined manner, and we believe that there's a lot of value here. Obviously, we've built a great event here. The city has been very supportive of it. The Premier Center, the general community, it's been financially successful. We think it's one of the best, if not the best, mid-major conference basketball tournaments, especially in a combined sense with men's and women's.
And I think that's the tricky part I wanted to ask you about, of potentially moving it to a different location. You want to keep them together. How much is that a stumbling block, roadblock, and maybe going somewhere else?
Well, it's not a stumbling block, but it was kind of reinforced by the membership through the committee that this combined aspect of a tournament was something pretty special. Yeah. And I would never say never, Dom, in terms of splitting them, because I suppose if we got to a point where it was a good situation for one gender in one location and another in a different location, then we would look at it. But ultimately, we can replicate the experience for both genders in one location, and that's really important. And I think that's been a source of pride for this league for a long time, and it was a big, important factor in the decision.
You and I have talked, I think, for as long as you've been commissioner, about getting the tournament to off of Friday to Tuesday to finish on a weekend.
Right.
Going forward with keeping in Sioux Falls, was that part of the deal as well? Because I know television dictates that, like, hey, we still want to finish on a Sunday.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a part of it, but we had already made that decision. So as we were kind of going through the process of assessment of where we were going to be, the thought process is that we would be in kind of this new day structure. And so, we feel really good about the Wednesday to Sunday. You're right, television factors into it. We have the windows available for the championship games on Sunday, one set of semifinals on Saturday. Would love to eventually get both sets of semifinals on national television, CBS. But yeah, it was a factor, but we feel really good about the day structure.
So going forward, I guess, do you know yet your television schedule for this upcoming year, nationally wise? Have they told you that yet or not yet?
Not yet. Funny, yeah. I just got an email 20 minutes ago saying we're ready to go start picking games.
Oh.
So I think after.
Okay, so there's a little bit.
Yeah,
of news
a little bit of news.
We got a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's coming. So I guess on that part, are you still? There's a potential that maybe they could grab the semifinals for both set of semifinals for national TV.
The tournament structure we know what we'll be on, which is what we had this past year, which are the men's semifinals on Saturday night, women's champ, men's champ on Sunday
CBS?
Afternoon and Sunday night. Yeah, CBS Sports Network. Yeah.
So let me jump off of that for your next television contract.
Yep.
Where are we at with that, and what other are you still? I know you're talking with CBS. Are you talking with anybody else right now?
So significant discussions around kind of what the next round of media rights agreements and relationships look like. The existing agreements with Midco Sports Plus on the digital side and CBS Sports Network on the national linear side expire
after this season,
June of 2026. Yeah. So as we think of 2026-27 as a year and beyond, we are going to need to have refreshed or new agreements in place and what we're doing. And so we've been working through a different committee structure, frankly, for the past year to assess what the existing agreements look like. And it always starts with our existing partners and then obviously what potential other opportunities may be out there. And so we've been very happy with the existing relationships, especially the exposure that we're getting nationally on CBS Sports Network. I mean, we had 13 games last year and the year before. Yeah. Not many mid-major conferences can show that. We had over 1 million unique viewers over the course of those 13 games on CBS. And so we're actually getting closer to the end, Dom, on making a decision both on the linear and the digital side. I would say we probably have a couple-ish months left, but we are getting closer, and that process has been pretty exhaustive.
I was going to say, how big a deal is that for you as commissioner? That's got to be a high priority for you.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people a lot. I've got kind of 4 things that consume my mind constantly. Membership, the national environment. I've got a flight this afternoon to Washington, D.C. to talk to senators and lawmakers about what's going on.
SCORE Act, I'm
SCORE
assuming.
Act, and just generally what's going on nationally in college athletics. Media rights.
Yeah.
And the sport of basketball. So, that's a lot of what consumes my time. And so I mentioned media rights because it is pretty significant. Yeah. And when you go through this process, I think for any commissioner, they would tell you that it is a pretty exhaustive process. You want to be thorough because there's a lot of constituencies to try to manage.
And I'm also, you see other mid-major deals like, okay, we want, if not that, we want more than that, correct?
Correct. And everybody's circumstances are unique. You asked me about football and our role with football, but football is not part of our media rights agreement. The NBFC has their own, whereas another FCS conference may have football or would have football
underneath
combined.
Their umbrella.
Underneath their umbrella. The markets are different than other conferences around the country because their cities are different than our cities. And so there's just a different dynamic to it. I think we've proven with our viewership on the digital front and the viewership on the linear side that there's a lot of value around the Summit League, and I think we've been able to expand our brand because of the existing relationships, and that's only going to get better on this next go-around.
You got a couple more minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's take a break. We come back. Much more with Josh Fenton, Commissioner of the Summit League here, live in Sioux Falls. He's got a plane to catch. We're going to get him for a couple more minutes because I want to talk to you about that. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns right after this. Back live here on Hot Mike on this Tuesday morning with the commish, Josh Fenton, joining us for a few more minutes. We got UND basketball coming up here. All right, you got a few more minutes on the clock. We got a little bit of news out of you. We're going to try and get some more. You mentioned you're going to D.C. later today. There's so much swirling around college athletics right now. I don't even know where to start because I'm not sure how much fans are engaged in it.
Yeah.
You know, the SAFE Act and the SCORE Act are two that, you know, I follow. I know what's going on. How much do you think the average fan would know how big a deal this is for
I mean, you know, if we had 50 more minutes, this is what we would talk about. But to try to keep it at a high level, I don't think the average fan is probably tracking on the details. But the impacts related to the future of college athletics, just given what we've lived through in the last few years through a litigious society with our industry, is significant. And so I would give you first off, there's three things within the SCORE Act, the three things that are really important to, I think, the healthy future in college athletics. One, federal NIL legislation. We have a lot of state laws, patchwork of state laws all over the place that are kind of trying to one-up each other from a competitive standpoint. So that isn't good for the industry. So federal legislation, which isn't to say that we're trying to restrict student-athletes' earning potential and power. It's just how do we try to create an even set of playing rules. Two, this codification that student-athletes are students on a campus and not necessarily employees on a campus. And, you know, this goes beyond just Division I, but this is college athletics in general, Division I, II, III, heck, maybe even down into NAIA or otherwise. And then three, and we're living this right now, is our ability as an association to create rules and then enforce rules, in particular around eligibility and the academic career that a student has on a campus, and trying to tie eligibility to their time frame as a student on a campus, not necessarily connected to economic opportunity, because if there are going to be students on a campus and they need to make progress towards degree, that we think it's really important that the athletic eligibility be tied to them being a student on a campus.
Because it sounds
those
like
are the three main things.
It sounds like the 5 for 5 is going to happen, though, right? That you get, because now the clock thing is still hard to understand. You're just going to get blanket 5 years. It sounds like that's going to come sometime soon.
Maybe. And I will tell you that doesn't necessarily solve this eligibility
other issues. Correct.
It may
alleviate
kind
a little
of
bit, right?
soften it a little bit, but it comes back to whether we as an industry want to decide on eligibility being connected to academics, which I think everybody else in the space would agree that should be a part of our rules, or should eligibility be tied to something else, economic opportunity? And that's where things get challenging.
All right, another challenging topic, because it sounds like this is going to happen sooner than later. A report last week out of Yahoo is that there seems to be consensus the NCAA tournament is going to go to 76 in 2027. You and I have talked about this, I think, the last couple of years about this topic. How does that suit the Summit League if expansion goes that way?
Well, first off, we're supportive of it. I think it's a great thing. I think we're in the business of experience and opportunity. So if we can expand opportunity for a few more teams, deserving teams to get in, why wouldn't we do that? You know, when you look at 360-ish institutions that compete in men's and women's basketball at the Division I level, the actual percentage of teams that make the tournament is on the low side compared to other sports. And so, you know, we have the ability to allow more opportunity and more experience. And, you know, the NCAA through the broadcast partners are working through this right now, but so as long as the financial aspect can work out to where costs can be covered and unit values can be made whole, we're very supportive of it. We think it's a great thing.
All right, I got to add last thing before I go here. St. Thomas is picked on the men's side to win the conference tournament or the regular season championship. They're opening their brand new building this year. I know their admission came prior to you being the commissioner of the league. But when we're going back to alignment and talking about teams coming in, expansion, when you see a member like that have the kind of success they've had in a short amount of time, is that enticing to get other schools like, hey, you can come in here, you can have success, or are they a red herring because of where they're located and what the kind of funds they have?
Well, first off, it's a credit to them and what they knew they were prior to making an announcement to transition to Division I, and then what they've continued to build. So President Rob Vischer, Athletic Director Phil Leston, obviously the basketball program's coaches, but all the other sport programs there. They've set themselves on a trajectory to be successful. They've been a great Summit League member, will continue to be a strong Summit League member in the future. And I do think, to your question, it gives an opportunity for others to look at the potential as a member of the Summit League if they want to contribute at levels, not necessarily has to be at the same level, but at levels to invest in Division I athletics that can help their overall institutional profile. And so I do think it's an opportunity in the future.
And just to be clear before I let you go, they're eligible now postseason.
They are
all
eligible,
sports, correct?
Eligible for NCAA qualification, at large, automatic qualification if they were to win one of our team championships. So yes, that's an exciting thing.
And they can host conference tournaments as well going forward.
Correct.
Right?
Yep. And they're going to host baseball and softball.
Right. Good stuff. Great to see you, my man. Happy basketball season. Always great to see you.
Thanks
Josh Fenton
here.
joining us, Summit League Commissioner here on this Tuesday morning. We come back, we'll visit with UND's basketball teams. Dennis Hutter coming up, women's basketball head coach, as we roll on live from Sioux Falls right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mike live on location here on Summit League Basketball Media Day. Final half hour of our show, at least here on Extra. We'll be live for another hour on WDAY Plus from 11 to noon today. It's our pleasure to be joined by UND women's basketball head coach Dennis Hutter joining us, guy who took the job in April. Does it feel like now officially as head coach?
Yes.
Yeah,
we're officially into practice, so yes, we are officially settled in, and it feels like I'm coaching a basketball team again. And while it's fun to put a team together and structure a team together and construct a roster, it's much more enjoyable to coach that roster.
So we had you on in April when I know your head is spinning because you're trying to figure out who's back and how to get a team together. Describe that process of what that 6 weeks was like to basically cobble a roster together.
Yeah, first thing I was told, if there was a month of April, I didn't see it. I mean, so my son's got baseball games. There was a lot of things he had to miss, but, you're trying to put things together and you're trying to construct a roster. You're making phone calls. You're watching film, but you're also got the 7 players that stayed.
Right.
And you want to make sure that their experience is still going well. So it isn't just the roster spots that most people think about, which is fair. You also got the 7 that wanted to stay and making sure their experience and we can start heading it in the right direction. So it was a whirlwind a little bit, but luckily, I've learned over the years, if you surround yourself with really good people that understand what you want to do, and I'm surrounded with a staff that's phenomenal in regards to understanding what we want to do and what we want to try to accomplish. It makes it a little bit easier, and then it just started to come one after another, and luckily we were able to find 9 kids that found it attractive.
I got to ask for you, and I know you don't want to talk about yourself, but you had been in Mayville for so long. Had Division I, had you let that dream go, say, I don't know if that's ever going to, I'm enjoying where I'm at, we're winning, that I don't know if the Division I thing is going to happen?
It's never been a level thing for me. I'm not going to lie to you. There's been other opportunities at different levels that I turned down when I was at Mayville. For me, it's always just, can I be at a place where I can run the program where I feel like it's best fit for me? Is there a chance to be successful? Can you bring in players that understand what you're trying to do and do it at that level? It's never been about the level. Obviously, D1 is something everybody kind of looks at. And I get this question a lot, Dom. Can you do it at UND the way you did it at Mayville?
Right.
And I said, well, we'll find out because I don't know any other way. It's been 19 years of this way. So it's never been a dream of mine, but obviously it was an opportunity. And I just felt like the timing was just right in all aspects, from a personal family situation to a professional situation, to make the move.
We're going to talk to 2 of your returners coming back. How key was Mikayla and Walker of building blocks of keeping the team together?
Oh, huge. I mean, just in the fact that, like, when you're talking to recruits, you've got 2 mainstays that decided to stay for whatever reason they stayed. And so they're both unbelievable leaders. They work extremely hard. They're just high integrity, high character, high effort, high output players that you're looking for, that just make our locker room better. Yeah. They get us on the floor. They make us better. And so it was important that they be kind of the rocks we build this thing around when we started to bring other players in to see, hey, this is who you could play with. These 2 have been phenomenal in their leadership ability from June all the way up till now. And every day you just see different sides of them that come out even more in regards to the leadership that they can bring and supply, that I think is going to be very huge for us as we go through this journey.
So how much were they not necessarily selling the program when you were bringing transfers in to say this is a spot to be in? Were you bringing them into the transfer visits where you're having in April and May?
Our returning players,
yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
All of them were heavily involved in the family we wanted to build, because they were the 7, and now we wanted to build a family around the 7. They were all heavily involved in the process in regards to interacting with recruits, parents, explaining kind of what we were trying to build at UND, the type of players we were looking for on the floor, off the floor, in the locker room. And so Mikayla and Walker were definitely heavily involved, along with the other 5, in regards to bringing in the 9 new kids that we were lucky enough to bring in.
So for the players they brought in, it's a mix, but a lot of them have upper Midwest ties. How important was that for you?
Very, very. I mean, if you see our Mayville teams, you'll see it was all North Dakota, Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's very important to me. I feel like there's a connection when you recruit locally, and locally here maybe more regionally.
Yes,
but there's a connection. I do think that kids have a tendency to maybe not transfer as much when they're maybe a little bit more closer to home. There's a little bit greater buy-in, and the culture. The culture is just the culture they've grown up in. I mean, Mikayla and Walker are prime examples. Blue-collar, hardworking families, blue-collar, hardworking players in the classroom as well as on the floor. That was extremely important to me. You've seen me coach. You kind of understand how I am. And so those players are huge in the intensity that we bring, along with that effort and attitude we ask every single day.
So I've had a chance to cover Mackenzie Hughes since she was like a freshman at Thompson High School. You obviously coached her as well at Mayville. When the opportunity arose there, was that a no-brainer for you to say, hey, we'd love to have you come play your last year with us?
I was ready to pack her suitcase today. I heard about it. I said, let's go. Obviously I've known Mackenzie a long time, and her mom, Beth, and her dad, Jeremy.
Who never miss a game, by the way, ever.
They're everywhere.
Yes.
And they were phenomenal supporters of our program at Mayville, and they'll be some great supporters of our program at UND. No, it was a no-brainer. I mean, obviously Kenzie knows me so well. So the thing that Kenzie obviously has been phenomenal at is she is the one player in the locker room that can say, I've played for Coach Hutter, so this is what we're looking for. When he says this is what he's talking about. When he wants this is what he wants. And she has been phenomenal in that regard. And she's a relentless competitor. She's tough as nails. Her and I have a great relationship, and it was just when that opportunity presented itself, I'm like, what do we have to do to get this done? She came up for one visit and said, where do I sign? And I am very grateful. And like I told her before we started, I am so grateful and fortunate to get one more journey with this kid, because she's just a special kid.
After being an assistant last year, and I think you already had a good idea of what the Summit League was, what is it going to take for UND to be in the conversation with South Dakota State, with North Dakota State, with Oral Roberts, that we want to be up at the top of the league and be mentioned with those 3 teams?
Well, I think number one, you got to be more consistent. We just have to be a lot more consistent. We got to be consistent with our effort, consistent with our smaller details, maybe taking care of the ball and making shots we're supposed to make, playing hard on a daily basis, our attitude. I just think there needs to be a level of what we just call a championship mentality, just a consistent championship mentality, day in, day out, playing hard, competing, and kind of letting everything else just kind of take care of itself. If you start measuring yourself, I don't know if that's a really good thing for us. So what we talk about is just win the day. What do we have to do to win today? If we do, then let's win tomorrow. And that's really what we're honed in on. I think if you win enough days, you'll find that you're probably competing with the higher level teams in the league, like you mentioned.
This might be a silly question, but last year on this floor, you guys won a game in the tournament. I know it was a different team. Can you build off of that with the players that are back to say, we've had success down here?
Yeah, I believe you can. I do. I believe that you can rely on that a little bit. You got, again, 7 kids that were a part of that. But I believe you can build off of that. I believe you can talk about, different situations, larger crowds, different arena, greater people watching, as far as just the fact that the tournament's happening. And you can definitely use that to build in regards to letting players know that, hey, you can accomplish more than you think you can accomplish. You're tougher than you think you are. You're more resilient than you think you are. And that's a great game that we could turn to show them that when you do that, you can accomplish some good stuff.
Tell us about the building the non-conference schedule, because you're not shying away here of who you got going, and you're going to be traveling as life is as a mid-major basketball team.
Yeah, I found that out real fast. But scheduling's a little more difficult than I thought. Maybe it's just you continually play the same teams. You do, and you stay locally. I mean, obviously, budget's a factor, but we're going to go play the Gophers right off the bat.
Yeah.
And, so
how exciting is that?
It's awesome. Being a Twin Cities guy myself, I'm like a kid in a candy shop going back to the barn. I've never been in there to coach a game, so I'm excited about that.
But
fantastic. But what an opportunity for us to just kind of measure. Just let's see where we are. All right, let's not make things bigger than they need to be. It's the first game of the year. It really is. And so obviously everybody's still growing right now, but what an opportunity to kind of measure yourself up against a team that should be stronger, faster, bigger than you, and just see where we're at as far as our effort goes and what we're trying to do. And I feel like if we play hard, we'll keep taking steps in the right direction. But yeah, I mean, the non-conference schedule was, we wanted to test it, but we also wanted to find opportunities where we could see some opportunities to like really compete and grow a little bit. And we traveled a lot last year, so we were trying hard, really hard to not travel as much this year, which the month of December we're only traveling one time. So we're very fortunate in that regard. But yeah, I've learned that scheduling mid-major D1 is a little bit more difficult than even at Mayville.
You know, seeing it as a coach at Mayville, and obviously your 1 year at UND, the Betty can be a really, really nice home court advantage. How do you tap into that to get people to say, I know it's a different team, but to come out and watch us this year?
Number one, I think the product. I mean, I just think the product in regards to, I believe people will come out and support a product they respect.
Yeah.
Playing hard, competing together, being a team, having a great bench, having energy, a genuine excitement for one another on and off the floor, I think is something that resonates with fans of all fan bases, I believe, not just ours. And I think that's something that makes people leave the gym that night and go, I want to come back. I want to watch them play again. Certainly having success goes a long way with that as well. I learned that at Mayville when we started to get things rolling. I mean, we had a lot of people come watch us play, and success does add to that, but that will come. I really believe that, but I do believe people will show up to a product they respect, and we every day we talk about effort, attitude, togetherness, and toughness. It's the 4 things we talk about.
Off of that, I know you're only 2 weeks into practice before I let you go. What do you see as defining traits of this team that can be when you hit the floor in a few weeks?
I'll be honest with you, Don, we got a great group. I love this group. I mean, I love this team. We have great kids. They compete. They absolutely compete. And they understand how I am. I expect that out of them. And I can coach them hard, and they respond, which I love, and they play together. That's one of the things that was very important to us. So right now when I watch it, I'm like, I think we compete at a high level. I think we're learning really fast how to play together, okay? And then just understanding what it means to be a part of something bigger than you, which is the team. All that's kind of coming together right now through the summer and into the fall, and that's why I love this group so much.
It's great to see you, man.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for the
Thanks.
time. Good luck this year, all right?
Thank you very
Dennis
much.
Hutter joining us, UND women's basketball head coach. We'll come back. We'll take our final break. We've got 2 UND basketball players coming up. Mikayla Aumer and Walker Demers will join us to wrap up Hot Mic live on location here in Sioux Falls. We're back right after this.
Be sure to get their name correct.
Welcome back, everybody. Live on location as we wrap up Hot Mic, at least, for Summit League Media Day. We got another hour coming on WDAY Plus from 11 to noon. We'll visit with UND men, the Denver program, the South Dakota State teams coming up in our next hour as well. We are joined now by a couple of UND women's basketball players, Walker Demers and Mikayla Aumer. Join me. Mikayla, I apologize. I've talked to Walker since you're like a freshman in high school, so you'll have to excuse us for that. But thanks for doing this. I got to start first. We were talking with Coach Hutter. So you being a Minnesota native, of playing the Gophers to start the season. Tell me about the excitement about that.
Honestly, I'm extremely excited. Obviously, playing in front of a home crowd. That's not a home crowd at UND, obviously, but going back home, I haven't played at the Barn since I think it was my sophomore year of high school. So it's really exciting to be able to go back there and just reminisce a little bit.
For the Mora Mustangs way back when on that. All right, tell me about this coming back. We were here last year. How would you describe last year for you personally, how it went?
I think last year was definitely a learning experience, but something that I'll cherish forever, and obviously I learned a lot through it, and the stuff that I learned I can take to this year. So
you dealt with injury last year. Describe that of, I know how much you love to play, of having to sit. How difficult was that?
Yeah, it was definitely hard, but I think it was just a realization that, it slowed my life down a little bit and made me open my eyes and saw basketball from a different perspective. And that's something that you don't learn unless you go through it. So,
Mikayla, I want to take this floor last year. I know it's a different team. You guys get that win over St. Thomas. You advance the semis. You play the Jackrabbits. I know it's a different team, but can you take that experience of what you did here last year to this season?
Honestly, yeah. So, obviously in previous years, it's hard. I don't think people realize how hard it is to actually win a game in postseason and, at the Summit League tournament. So being able to do that, I think having that little bit of experience can help us moving forward.
What was that like to have that experience and walk off the court a win like you did last year against St. Thomas?
Very fulfilling, brought a lot of gratitude. I had a lot of gratitude for that. It's hard to do, so just being able to do something like that is special.
All right, so the transition happens after the season. When do you guys find out? Did Mal come and talk to you guys? Did you find out like the rest of us did? Take us through how the offseason went in terms of the coaching transition.
We found out a little bit earlier. Obviously, she told us before it was released, and obviously we knew Coach Hutter. We had been under him for a whole year, and the transition was pretty smooth, and we love him and wouldn't have it any other way.
Is that necessarily you get recruited by one coach, but in the era where everyone's moving around, how different was that to deal with? Okay, we're going to have a different coach now for your senior year.
I think it was pretty nice. Obviously, already having built a relationship with Coach Hutter and already knowing him, I think that made the transition a lot smoother and easier, especially for like the returning players that were already there. And he's big on family, so that helps a lot too.
Knowing though the portal is open, new coach, there's going to be players moving. And I'll ask both of you. You already went through it once. Was you tempted to do it again? Like, all right, who's going to be back on this team? Take me through your thought process once the season ended and there's a coaching change.
Honestly, the biggest thing for me was obviously I'm going into my senior year. Like, there was a lot of unknown.
Right.
But like the girls that were still there, it was one of those things like I didn't want to leave those girls behind. You know what I'm saying? You
went through this already. So, I mean, describe for the girls that decided to stay, how much do you tell them, okay, this is what it's like. If you decide to go, this is what it's like.
Yeah, I think that was a huge conversation that I had with them, and being able to talk to them about that and share my personal experience was special because not everyone goes through it. And, I wouldn't want that like wished upon anyone else. So it was definitely an experience, but we all just stayed true to ourselves and just said like, this is where we want to be and this is home. And if anything, there's consistency amongst us, and that's all that matters.
So when the dust settles and it's like the seven of you, it's like, okay, how much stronger was the bond? Like, okay, we're going for whoever comes in, we're together.
Honestly, that's how we've kind of set the foundation of like what we want to be as a team and like the family we want to have. You had a lot of girls that really just knew what we wanted, and we got to go from there.
Tell us about, because we were visiting off air, but you got to build the rest of a roster. How are you guys involved in that when Coach Hutter says, hey, I'm going to bring a potential player on campus? Are you scouting them out as well?
Oh, yeah, of course. We definitely talked to the coaches before that, and obviously we got to meet them, eat with them, and walk them around campus, and then we got to share our thoughts about them after. But, a lot of the girls that came and visited us were really cool, and the ones that we have now are really awesome too.
Mikayla, a lot of them have ties to the upper Midwest. How important was that? They're from Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, or North Dakota. Was that a big deal at all to you guys, or no?
I don't think it really played a huge part into it. It's nice to see, obviously, kind of where I grew up, to see, Minnesota is a pretty big basketball state, and just like the Midwest, it's growing. So being able to represent those girls and having more girls come in is a big thing.
So for people who don't know, it's not like you just started practice on September, whatever, that was your first day. You go all summer. So how big a deal was that in terms of gelling with the 9 new players with the 7 returners?
Yeah, it was very important, and Coach Hutter definitely stressed competing and togetherness, and I think that we were really able to emphasize that as we started official practice.
When you go through this, knowing this is your last ride after how last year went, I mean, try not to put the weight of the world on your shoulders. Like, okay, I want to have a really good last senior season.
Yeah, I think it's super special to be able to spend my senior season at home and just in a place that I trust, with coaches I trust and teammates that I love. So I think even so far it's been a great experience, and I'm ready to end it well.
So when she came in last year, did you know how big of a deal she was in North Dakota?
I mean, I knew of her and knew her through
obviously playing in South Dakota, right?
Yeah.
That she has her own fan section at the Betty for every game. Did you guys give her a hard time about that?
Not so much, but it was nice having her obviously come to UND. She's a huge part of this family, and it's nice to have her as a sister here too.
Did it plan out as well as you thought? Like being back home and having when you and I talked here last year, was it even better than what you thought it could be?
Yeah, I definitely think so, and being close to home is something special that not a lot of people get to experience, and I'm lucky to be able to come back and still call it home no matter where I'm at in my life.
All right, so we've seen Coach Hutter at Mayville State coach, and obviously coached against you when a couple years ago. Now that he brings it on as an assistant, what was that transition like? And now he's a head coach for you.
Honestly, it was kind of nice to have him like as an assistant first. He'll talk about like not a lot of people get to see him in like that role and that side of him. So it was really interesting to like build that relationship with him first, and then obviously transitioning to a head coach now. Like I said before, it made things like a lot smoother, and you kind of know what he's looking for, and just like the competition, effort, attitude, togetherness, and toughness.
Walker, how different is he? Just X's and O's. What are we? Is UND women's basketball like starkly different from last year?
I would say that
outside of the players on the court, obviously.
Yeah, no, I would say that, you know, UND is UND, and I think that we have always had the same mindset. And this year we're going to be together, and, you know, we have a family bond that I think is special to this group. And I think Coach Hutter has instilled that in us, and will probably the rest of his time there.
I was asking Coach this. I'll ask you as well. How does UND get in the same breath with South Dakota State, with North Dakota State, with Oral Roberts saying we want to be in that conversation when we get to March?
I think it's not focusing on like the result and like necessarily where you have the idea of where you want to be in your head, but it's where you are right now. Like being present and being where your feet are, trusting the process, and just focus on winning the day. Not like the next week, not our first game, but winning the day.
I'll ask you as well. This is your last go. How much are you not trying to put the weight of your world on your shoulders that every game I want to go out and have the best game I possibly can have, but just to go and enjoy it as well?
That's the biggest thing. I've had like a lot of discussions with Coach about this. Just being where my feet are. I think I kind of get caught up in the fact of like looking to the future, like maybe it is going to go by fast. Yeah. But being where my feet are, I'm going to be able to enjoy that a lot more.
Okay, favorite road place to play? Now you've been all over the league, so I feel I can ask you this. What's your favorite place on the road to play at?
My favorite place?
Because it's not UND anymore, because now you're playing there, because I know it was in the past.
Yeah, I would probably say NDSU just because of the rivalry. And you know, we still have a good fan base because it's only an hour down south, so probably NDSU.
Is that the same for you? You got a different one?
100% NDSU. Just the environment, and to be able to compete in an atmosphere like that is phenomenal.
And both games were fantastic last year. The atmosphere in Fargo was electric, and certainly was at the Betty. How do you feed off of that? And for other games, say, hey, it doesn't have just be the Bison game. Come out for the Jacks or Oral Roberts, and you guys can do that on a game-to-game basis. How do you do that for fans? How do you translate it over, I guess is what I'm asking.
I think knowing that every game is like another game. Like it doesn't change. Yes, there's a big rivalry there, but it's another game that you fortunately get to play.
All right, expectation-wise for this team, what do you see for this upcoming year?
I just really hope that we stay together and compete every single game. Our main goal each and every game is to compete to our highest ability, no matter who we're playing.
I got to ask, you had a game last year, I believe, that didn't even play because the lights went out. Is that the first time you ever had anything like that happen before?
Yeah, that was the first time for me. That was very
first and last, hopefully.
Yeah, right? Because you guys were doing warm-ups, right? Like the game's ready to go.
First game.
Yeah, first game of the season.
Lights went out. Describe now as you get ready for the upcoming year. Just is it a slog now in practice, or is it like, okay, we still need to get going before we play our first game?
Oh, we're definitely still competing right now. I mean, it's easy to say that you can have a dip at this time of year because we're still a couple weeks away from our first game, and we've been practicing all summer. But I think this group is really special in the fact that we want to work for each other and compete for each other.
Mikayla, last year you guys were crisscrossing the country. You're not doing that this year. Is that how much of an advantage is that travel isn't nearly as strenuous as it was last year?
I was going to say that's going to be a lot nicer for us, and like just having discussions, you know, how we're going to rest our bodies better and recover and things like that. I think things will go a lot smoother.
When you look back at it, is it hard to believe, like, okay, this is it? Like, you feel like just not that long ago you were a freshman and now this is the end of the road here?
It really does go by fast. It's crazy to think about, and I'm thinking, like, now what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do when I'm done, or what am I going to do when I'm done with college? But it's like, just be where your feet are. Just enjoy the moment.
How much are you doing that as well? Like, hey, this is the last first practice I have. Like,
yeah.
Are you doing that, or you can't think that way?
Oh, yeah. I would say I'm definitely a nostalgic person. So I obviously think back to even high school and elementary when I started. But I think just being where your feet are and just knowing that each and every practice, like, these are the last of it. So why not give 100%? Why not? You know, so that's just our mindset going into it. And I think that Coach Hutter has really been there for us, and it wouldn't happen any other way.
Ladies, this was great. It's great to see you. Good luck this year. Stay healthy, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you.
Awesome. Walker Demers, Mikayla Aumer joining us here live on location. That's going to put a wrap on things for Hot Mike. We're not done, though. We got another hour coming up on our stream on WDAY+. The UND men are coming up right off the hop. We're excited about that. You're going to hear from Paul Sather, Eli King coming up as well. Denver men's basketball coach Tim Bergstraser, Carson Johnson coming up, South Dakota State. Also coming up as well, we can already see they're grimacing about talking about the Jackrabbits, but we're going to do that coming up in our next hour as well. Been a great show here on location. We appreciate everybody helping us out back in Fargo for making the show take place here today. Thanks to all of our guests. If you missed anything, it will all podcast later today at Inforum.com and on WDAY+. You'll hear from Dave Richman, Jory Collins, the Bison men, Bison women, Josh Fenton as well. All of that coming up later on today. All right, streaming show coming up in just a couple minutes. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're back in Fargo tomorrow. We'll see you then. We are back live here on, well, I guess they could say Hot Mike, on a streaming special from 11 to noon on WDAY+, Inforum.com, live in Sioux Falls on Summit League Media Day. Our pleasure to be joined by UND men's basketball head coach Paul Sather, about to start I had to double check this, year 7.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it is. Time flies.
I remember you got the job, man. Holy cow.
I had a little more hair back then. Time flies.
Well, I remember being on this floor with you last March in one of the greatest games in Summit League basketball tournament history of what Trace and Eagle staff did. Describe of having that excitement around the program, and can you carry that, I know, with a different team into 25-26?
Well, momentum, right? And you know, with momentum at the end of the season right now, sometimes it's hard to carry it over.
Yep.
And we do return 8 players, and you know, Eli is our most experienced back, and only started really back, and then a guy like Zach Kraft really played in that game. He played well, and
really good,
and he had moments throughout. So those are our most experienced guys, but we've got guys. You know, there's 6 other guys in that returning group that have all been working for their opportunity, and that, you know, I think we got a few of those guys that I think are going to really make big contributions again. So keep the momentum going, but obviously a lot of new guys, and you got to fight for it again.
I will say, I think you've been the master of the portal. I'm just saying, I'm not telling you that because you're sitting here, but you've been really nice job of finding guys that necessarily the drop-down guys, but the junior college mix. Why has that been such a sweet spot for you to find those kind of players?
Well, number one, you got a good staff that really puts a lot of time in and works. You know, and just relationships that you have throughout the country, and that's over time you build those. And as a staff, we all have different connections across the country that kind of help us get involved, maybe with some guys that aren't easy to get involved with. I think that helps, but it starts with the staff. And the second thing is a place like University of North Dakota, when you get them up and they see it. And granted, it's in the spring and it's in the summer a little bit. There's not as much snow, but it's such an awesome university and it's such an awesome city and region. And I think you feel the support that you get from the people and the quality of people there as well. So there's a lot of things that help impact that. Yeah. And but again, I got a staff that just works extremely hard and getting ourselves ready for that.
Tell us about the new additions before we get to the returners, of what you've brought in and what kind of mix. We're going to meet one of them here in just a little bit.
Well, sure. And you're going to meet Garrett Anderson, who, you know, he played 2 years at San Jose State. He's a Phoenix prep kid. He's from Phoenix, but loves to hunt, loves to fish, and do those kind of things. So he fits in really well, I think, with just our area and our region, right? But then Josh Jones came from Oral Roberts, so we got to play against Josh. And then we, you know, Wiley from University of Mary's a local product that decided to come over as well. So, you know, but with a guy like Garrett, you lose a guy like Trace and Eaglestaff in the portal, and you know, Garrett's 6'6", he's skilled with the ball, he shoots it with really good range. But we've been really happy with his ability to attack, his ability to be able to stop and find other players as well. And just that really athletic, you know, I think the thing that, you know, you recruit someone and you're hearing things and you get to see them, but we were really happy with just the athleticism. He's got a very live body. Like, from a defensive standpoint, keep building that mentality, right? But scoring and different things, moving about the ball, his cutting, all those different things help. And a guy like Josh is just a grown man.
Yeah.
He's 6'10", he's 245, and I feel like he's made of lead sometimes. Like his duck-ins and his ability to post, his ability to just post and get angles, it's special. And like I want to see him now that, hey, big fella, we're really counting on you.
Yeah.
And you want this. You came for this opportunity, and it's been fun to see that growth because he's just an awesome young guy, Josh. And then, Wiley did some really good things for Mary that first year. And
that's a guy
another guy that's
well.
got a really live body. A live body. He shoots it really well. And he's still just a really young player that's learning an awful lot. So from a transfer standpoint, those are the three guys that we brought in, and we'll see how that goes.
Having a guy like Eli back, with how much he's played for you, how much is that a building block to say we can build around him and go from there?
Well, listen, he's such an everyday guy. Like, you just know what you're going to get every day from Eli, and he's really good on both sides of the floor. And we play him in a lot of different positions. Right. Like, he's guarding a lot of different types of players, but away from the ball defensively, he does a lot of good things. And then from the offensive side of it, I think he made 42 or 43 threes last year.
Heck, he made it in that South Dakota State game.
He might have made 50 threes. I think he had like 40% last year.
Man.
So, like, he sneaks up on you as far as what his three-point makes were and the percentage he made at. And just the experience that he brings, he's just such a great teammate. He's such a great workhorse. He's just one of those guys that every single day you can count on.
There's no easing into the schedule this year. This is the payback after getting Alabama to come to Grand Forks.
You got to go back.
You got to go start there. What is that? There's no, easing into the deep end. You're going right into it with an SEC power.
We're telling those guys just a few minutes ago that you get a good dose of humility right out of the gate, and I don't mean that in a way that we're already saying it, but you have to have that humility going into a game like that because you got to understand how hard it's going to be.
Yes,
and
self-awareness, right?
Self-awareness, and you're like, listen, like we found out, anything can happen on a basketball court. A three-point line makes things level, a little bit more level at points and times. They're a team that obviously shoots it great from three, and they really take a lot of pride in that. And that was something at our place we probably did a little bit better job than they did last year. But we know what we're getting into, and on their court it's going to be a little bit different animal. But what a cool thing that they came up to play us.
It was fantastic.
And that story awesome. With Coach Stevens sending that email about it,
right?
And then their guy got right back and said, Coach Oates loves likes bad ideas, and that might be the best bad idea that he's ever seen. And like they were quick to respond and get back to us. So.
Now the fact also you have an exhibition game down at the barn. Which I know how much you recruit the Twin Cities of getting a chance to play Minnesota in an exhibition game.
Well, we got, Anthony Smith, the third, on a team from Hopkins. We got the Marley and Micah Curtis from the cities.
The Twins are
We've done
electric.
really well recruiting down there. And so going down there, I'm from Minnesota, and it's always fun. There's a nostalgia going into the barn and playing. It's something that I get goosebumps thinking about that. And the opportunity that Coach Medved's doing to let us come down and play that exhibition game, it's a big deal. And we're thankful and grateful that he's letting us do that because it's a pretty cool opportunity for our team.
Because there's no time they're going to actually play in the regular season, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean, they have, and I think he would. I just think this year it worked out. It worked out to do this exhibition game. Listen, I think scheduling is really hard.
I already give you started
and
on that.
I don't ever judge anybody on their scheduling anymore. I used to, when I was a Division II coach, I used to look at it and say, hey, why aren't you playing? Now you kind of understand a little bit more. Yep.
I know you've only been through a couple weeks of practice. Where do you get a sense the real identity of your basketball team could be this year?
Well, I just think there's going to be a good balance to our team. I think, last year Trayson would take a lot of that attention, I think, sometimes. I think we're going to have a little bit more balance to our team. I think we're going to have some depth inside that's been different than what we've had. We got Josh, but, we've got a guy like Matt Bothan who is redshirted now going into his third year. He's put on 40 pounds.
Holy cow.
And he shoots it really well, but his skill level's really good. And he's 6'9", 6'10", 225 now. Ryan Erickson is going into his redshirt third year now. And, and then a guy like George, and I'd crush George's last name. We call him Guga. Guga's 6'10", 235 pounds, and he's a lefty that's really skilled. So we've got guys I really feel like, along with, we talked about Josh, I just think we've got good size inside where I think there's going to be a balance of us being able to score in and have some physical presence in there with some depth. And then I think we've got guys that can stretch the floor and shoot it. But are guys that are kind of eager to move the ball and find the open shot a little bit more than maybe what it was in the past. And that's, we'll see. We got to keep fighting for that. And defensively, at the end of the day, defensively, we got to keep getting better.
Last thing before I let you go, I had a college football coach tell me this earlier this year. With the age of the portal now, he said it's hard to really know our team until 4 or 5 games into a season, which for football is crazy. For you, how long do you feel like, okay, with the amount of newness with our roster, how many games in do you feel like, okay, I know the identity of our team?
I don't know if you can really measure it by how many games in. I just think it's an ongoing, never-ending process of trying to find that top 8, 9 rotation. And I think, as you saw last year, and the team in Fargo, North Dakota State, had a lot of changes in their rotation. We did a little bit as well. And I just think more often than not, throughout the time, when you have new people, everyone kind of has a new learning curve. And so when they're switching, that light really starts turning on, could be at different parts of the season. So when you can really have a guy step up and make an impact in a game that maybe wasn't in November, now that maybe they're getting rotation. So I think it's just keeping an open mind and not giving up on people. Keep allowing that competitive spirit to shine through, and your team it should continue to grow all year and stay optimistic and positive, because things can change quick.
It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for the time. Good luck this year. We'll be in touch, okay?
Appreciate it, yep.
Paul Sather joining us, UND men's basketball head coach. We'll take a quick break on our stream. We come back to UND players will join us coming up on the other side. We're back on WDAY Plus right after that. Welcome back, everybody, on our streaming show live on Summit League Basketball Media Day here in Sioux Falls. We're joined by two of UND's basketball standouts. Garrett Anderson and Eli King join us here on the floor at the Premier Center. We know all about you. I want to get to the new guy here in a second. Garrett, tell us about the portal experience and why Grand Forks and why UND stood out.
I mean, the portal experience is always a lot. Like, there's coaches that'll call you and reach out, and it's like, it's kind of hard to tell which coaches are just trying to put their name in your head or which coaches are really trying to like show you they want you. So Sather actually, like, every single coach called me the same day. So, like, all 4 of them called me in one day, so that kind of, like, stood out to me just in the beginning. And I was talking to a few other schools. I was going to go on some visits after UND, but I came to UND, and it was, like, Sather that was driving me around everywhere. So it wasn't like an assistant coach, kind of like, he wasn't, like, passing me off. So that kind of made me feel, and really know that I was wanted. And just, like, the experience that I had in, like, the town. I like the cool college town. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, so I'm not sure about this cold, so we'll see about this winter. But I just really liked the feel and, like, the atmosphere and how the coaches stood out.
You've been through this before on the other side when you came from Iowa State to UND. So when guys are prospective coming in, how much are you involved in that of trying to ingratiate them with the team? Like, hey, this is what it's all about. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think it's important to, just show the new recruit or whatever that the team's connected and stuff, and a group of good guys. So just trying to show that and try to get to know them as much as possible and let them know how much we wanted them and how interested we are. And I think that goes with any recruit, just trying to show them that this is a place where we get along and have fun, and it'd be a great program to join.
What ultimately sold you, Garrett, on? Was it just the interaction with the coaches to say, this is where I want to go?
Yeah, I also, all the guys, like, we went to dinner and then went to, like, a golf simulator, just kind of, like, hung out, and it just felt, like, good. Like, I wasn't awkward. There was no awkward stages. Just kind of got along with all the guys. I played with them a little bit too, so that was good. Just getting a feel, and I just liked how it interacted. All
right, it wasn't until I was looking back at the video yesterday, I was getting ready for the show, about your game against South Dakota State back here, where Eagle staff gets all the headlines. You were pretty darn good in that game. Describe, and you were talking with some of the Jack fans of how much fun that was, and can you capitalize off of that momentum? I know it's a different team, but we did it last year. We were able to win a game down here.
Yeah, I think very fun game, great atmosphere and all that. I think that shows that, we didn't have the best year last year and all that, but when you come here, I mean, we beat one of the best teams here in front of their home crowd and stuff. So that shows you can beat anyone on this floor, and all you got to do is put it together 3 days in a row. So I think kind of just taking that and learning and playing in a tough environment like that, and just kind of bringing that forward to this year. And we got some returners back who were in that game and stuff, and then also the new guys just joining that and being able to help them coming into this tournament again this time.
Eli, tell me about your role this year, being a leader. How does that suit you for you being back and having so many new guys with the team?
Yeah, I like it. It's a role that I'm excited for. I think I'm a pretty vocal guy, so I think I don't mind that at all, that part of it. I think just trying to get the younger guys to kind of buy-in and all that, and seeing their growth from the beginning of the summer when they stepped on campus is awesome to see, and they've made a lot of strides already. So just kind of trying to keep everyone positive and growing and pushing towards the same goal.
You can watch your guy here. This is the game I was talking about last year. He was pretty good. You remember that moment there?
Yeah.
You remember what it was said to you? I don't know if you could say it on the air.
No, I had some ties South Dakota State when I was younger and stuff, and a couple of the fans, one of them I knew really well, and knew him from the past, so they were kind of yelling at me in the first half when we were down, and then second half when we kind of got it going a little bit and started coming back. But just talking back to him, it was all good. After the game, they talked to me, told me good game and stuff, but it was fun in the moment for sure.
Garrett, tell me about your college basketball experience, and what do you know about the Summit League coming into it, and was it more of a, I've got to find out about the league once I'm committed to UND?
Yeah, so my sophomore year, actually, I was at San Jose State, and Tim Miles used to coach at North Dakota State, so we came and played North Dakota State at home. And I just I liked their arena, it was cool. I think it was pretty new at the time, a couple years ago. And then once I was being recruited by UND, I looked at all the teams in the conference and then just kind of looked at all their, where they're at, the places, the arenas, just everything like that. So it looked like a cool conference, and everything's not too far. And it seems like the community around the conference is pretty good, the fans and atmospheres and stuff. So I was really excited for that. And it's a top 15 conference, so that sold me too.
What did you tell them about the transition? You just went through it a couple of years ago about going from the Big 12 to the Summit League.
Yeah, I think other than obviously trying to sell them on North Dakota, I'd say it's a league that's just super skilled, super competitive every year, it seems like. I mean, both years I've been here, you're not surprised if the 8th or 9th ranked team beats the one seed that night. So I think just super competitive, super skill base, and then also I love the tournament here. I feel like it's a great area too, all the places you go. So I think just trying to sell him on that.
A couple minutes left here with Garrett and Eli. Garrett, is it too early, or do you have a defining factor with this team yet? Or you've been through practice. Do you get a kind of defining trait about this team yet, or is it too early?
So we're kind of young, but it took the freshmen kind of had to figure it out early, just kind of that matureness. And it's gotten a lot better recently. So actually the last month, probably, I would say the team has really stepped it up. It's kind of that maturity, which actually changes a lot on the court, off the court, all that. And I think that's helped us a lot with the last little bit of time we've had.
You know full well what the Summit League brings. What's it going to take for UND to get back into the top half of the league this year?
Yeah, I think just for now, until the first game, just improving every single day. I think focusing on the strides we've made in the past few weeks, like he said. I think we still got a lot of room to grow with our newcomers and transfers, and also a couple of the returning guys trying to make a push for more minutes. So I think just focusing on that. We know there's going to be ups and downs throughout the season. There is for every team. I think non-conference, it's trying to get the best for come January 1st and come conference play, and then this Summit League tournament. So I think just not letting the downs affect us and just keep moving forward. You are a Minnesota guy. How big a deal is it to you playing the Gophers? I know it's an exhibition game, but how big a deal is that at the barn to start off the year? No, that'll be sweet. That's someone you grow up watching and all that. And the barn played there before. It's a special place for you. So that's something I'm excited for. And then also it's just awesome you'll be able to have friends and family also be there and come watch you play, and they're not able to make it all the time up to Grand Forks, so it'll be sweet. All right, as a Caledonia guy, I have to ask, do you hate the city of Barnesville? Barnesville and Caledonia go all in football. Tell me about that rivalry. What's like there? No, I don't hate Barnesville at all. Pretty good team, though. The guys matchups all the time. Yeah, they were really good. We fortunately, I think, won all of them when I was playing, but no, it was always fun, and I think there's few years in a row there where you kind of knew every year it was going to be you guys, right? Yeah. At some point, so no, I got no hate for Barnesville. What is it like though, that program, that football program, of growing up with that and wanting to be part of that, and then have the kind of impact you did in your hometown? Yeah, that was awesome. That's special. I think that football program and basketball program, but football especially, I feel like the town really resonates with it and stuff, and I think kids growing up, it's awesome to be playing sports over playing video games and things like that, and I think everyone really chipped in together and wanted to get better together and had seen the people come before us win and stuff, and that motivates you to want to do that when you're older. So then once you actually get there, I think it's special to just win a couple state championships and stuff, and then also you're trying to help out the younger guys and things like that. So it was awesome.
It's great to see you guys. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck, and we can't wait to see you on the court here in the not too distant future, okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
Garrett Anderson, Eli King joining us here. Great to see you, boys. Thanks so much for the time. We'll take a quick break. We come back. Denver will join us. Men's basketball head coach Tim Bergstraser coming up. We come back. Welcome back, everybody. Live on location here in Sioux Falls at the Premier Center on Summit League Basketball Media Day. Our next guest, I thought he got lost because he owns the city of Sioux Falls, but I forgot now he's a big-timer in the Division I ranks. It's Denver men's basketball coach Tim Bergstraser, former MSUM men's basketball coach. What's up, man? How you been?
Not bad, man. I can't
It's
complain.
great to see you.
I'm happy to be here. I've been looking forward to see what all this hype's about here.
This is like our old Tuesdays. You did Tuesdays with us on Hot Mic all the last couple years, so here we are again. And we talked in July. I know practice was summer workouts going on. Now actual practice is gone. Tell me about how the transition has gone.
It's been smooth. I mean, we're just chipping away at putting these pieces together.
Yeah.
And, so many new faces, and I don't want to say it's an obstacle, but that was new for me of just like trying to tug these guys in the same direction on how we want to do things. But I mean, they've definitely bought in. I know we brought in the right kind of people. Like they're very unselfish guys. They're competing hard. So that's been fun for me for sure. But now we're all just a major curiosity, very eager to see, what we could do here. I mean, we're going to be playing someone here before we know it. So, but that's, I think, that next step we're really ready for.
I know when we talked in July how excited you were about, okay, I built the team. Now we're actually practicing. Now a game is not too in the distant future. What are you looking forward to now of actually, okay, I built it. Now I got to see what it looks like.
Yeah. And it's just like, we're just going to be as prepared as possible. Like, that's just our job, I would say. And now it's like when that first scrimmage does happen, you're going to find out some glaring areas like, all right, we need to tighten this up, fix this, adjust this, not do this, whatever the case might be. But for me as a coach, and I think even just for our team, like they're ready to play someone too. Just like, all right, what's that next step for our overall growth? Because that's our process so far.
I got the sense when you got the job, there was a universal just a smile about it. Like, that's a good guy who's done a good job, and now he's going to get his chance. How excited are you for this? You've been building for this. Yeah. You had a great tenure at MSUM, and now here's your opportunity at the Division I level.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough just how fortunate I am. I fully understand how stinking hard it is just to get a job like this. Just even like when I was assistant, like to get a D2 head job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people understand. Like, that was me being in the right place, right time, because me just trying to go cold call someone to get a D2 head job, like outside of where I was, like that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
So like I don't overlook it. Like being at DU, it's a very big deal to me. Me and my family are extremely happy. We're very comfortable where we're at. Like I love the people I'm around at the university and campus. So like it's a very comfortable, happy area to be at.
You brought obviously more than a handful of guys from Moorhead to Denver, and I'm sure you've been asked this, and I'll ask it. What is this transition like? Because we've talked about this, that the level between the Summit and the Northern Sun isn't that much difference. Mm-hmm. How much you banking on that these guys who were really good in the Northern Sun can be great in the Summit League?
Yeah, without question. I think they've definitely proven that so far. We've always sold just NSSE basketball. Like it's Division I basketball.
Right.
People that don't understand the league, that they'll figure it out at some point. They play someone out of that league. But
we talked about it all the time over the last couple of years.
It's very high-level basketball. It's fun to be around, and I do know these guys are, without question, ready to play in the Summit League. I'm not going to say they're going to come in and dominate. They got to come in and prove themselves. They haven't proven nothing yet at this level, but it has made me very comfortable in my transition to have these guys come with me because I know that they're really good basketball players. They're just incredible human beings that compete, they care about winning, they know what it takes to win. So that's nice for me in my transition as a coach.
The traits that we saw at MSUM, is that similar what we're going to see with this Denver team? Because you have different pieces, it can't carry over, if you understand what I'm asking.
Yeah, well, we're going to try to still be who we were. Just how we operate as a program, like style, system, like I want to do it that way. But we, even just like when I was at MSUM, we've changed a little bit how we did things just based on our personnel. So far, I think we're going to be doing the same stuff. But, again, it could be our first scrimmage, like, all right, we're throwing that out the door. We need to add something different. This guy needs to be doing this, whatever. So we're just going to be very open to that. But I don't want to reinvent the wheel because it's obviously worked so far.
Building a schedule, was that as challenging as building a roster?
I didn't really build a schedule. It was already basically done when I got the job. I mean, after my press conference, they basically just handed it to me.
Here's
all right,
you got.
Here you go. And I was like, that's a pretty grueling non-conference schedule, ain't it? But, it's going to be great. I'm excited for it. Our guys are very excited for it. And, ultimately it's going to prepare us for Summit League play. I'd like to believe that we're going to be one of the more battle-tested teams.
No doubt.
You're looking at our non-conference schedule. And, But no matter what your situation is, like scheduling it's something else, man.
Yeah.
And I've learned that, especially even talking to a lot of the guys in the summit right now. Like, it's a little different at this level. It's very hard to do, hard to fill those. So I don't want to be ungrateful that our schedule was done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, all right, yes, it is. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. It's a tough schedule, but we're very excited for it.
Denver seems like a place, and I think you talked about this when you got the job, that it doesn't make sense why it hasn't been a winner in men's basketball. Why is that the case, and why can you change it in your mind?
I guess I don't have the full answer on that, just because the past coaches, like, they did it their way, and that's just how it is. Sometimes certain systems, certain people that just don't fit. I'm not going to say I'm going to come in and just fix everything day one, but I do know that we do have a blueprint that's worked so far, and I'm very confident that it's going to get us to where we need to be, within our program. And I've said it to so many people that when you look at our athletics top to bottom at DU, like, there's massive success.
Yeah.
So that's why before I got the job, I was like, why? Like, why are people not winning here? And I don't know how you can't bring high-level talent to DU. Like, I've already seen that just in my transition to building our current roster and the guys we're trying to get for the next class. Like, when they get to campus with the kids and the families, it's a wow factor when you get onto campus. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Last thing before I let you go here, and I appreciate the time. Recruiting-wise, with all the ties you have to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, are you still going to hit that area even though now you're in a different part of the country?
Oh, yeah. We'll obviously have a pulse on the Midwest area because it's obviously treated us very well.
Yeah, no doubt.
So we'll definitely have our eyes on that. But it has been nice in this transition for recruiting a different area for once.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to bring guys from Arizona, Texas, Colorado up to Minnesota.
Moorhead, right?
Yeah, but like that's quite the trip for those guys, especially as a high school guy. Transfer is easier, but high school guys not as easy. So that's without question. If there's guys we have a connection to, we trust, we believe they're good enough, because that net could go all across all 50 states, and if they're good enough, we're going to try to bring them to Colorado and make sure that they understand it's a beautiful spot to be.
You've had some dynamite success in the city of Sioux Falls. What can you do to make sure Denver has success in this building come March?
Man. Well, we'll worry about our non-con before that, but it's again, every coach would say we want to be playing our best basketball when it comes to that time. We'll be excited. I mean, just when you walk out, I've heard so many great things about this place. I've never had the chance to come to a game day here. It's
pretty good
because fortunately we've been in the regional tournament.
Right.
But yeah, man, I'm excited. I know Carson and Logan. I mean, you could already tell, like, when they walked in, like, all right, yeah, like, they're ready to play right now. So our team's not ready, but it'd be fun to at least get maybe a little scrimmage action.
Now, I know you're a big timer. Can we occasionally still get you on the big show?
Hit me up anytime.
All right,
that.
that's fantastic.
Reach out anytime. We'll make it
awesome.
happen.
Great to see you, man. Good luck this year. All right, Tim Bergstraser joining us, Denver men's basketball head coach. We'll break. We come back. Logan Kinsey, Carson Johnson from Denver going to join us on the other side of the break. Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic live on location. Our streaming show continues from Summit League Media Day. Our next two guests will be quite familiar to those that watch our show on a daily basis because they were dynamite for MSU Moorhead over the last couple of years. Logan Kinsey on my far left, Carson Johnson right next to me. Each of them transferred after the season to join Tim Bergstraser at Denver. Boys, it's great to see you. I know the city of Sioux Falls has treated you well after last year at the NSIC tournament. I'll start with you. So when Coach Bergstraser says, I got a new opportunity, I want you to come with. What went through your mind?
Let's do it. No thought upon it. I was like, all right, I'm ready to go. Like, what's the plan? And yeah, I mean, I was pumped. I mean, best case scenario, honestly, I was planning to come back to Moorhead, but he left. I was like, let me come with.
And in your wildest dreams, if I would have told you a couple years ago, opportunity to be a Division I basketball player, would that have even crossed your mind?
No, I had no intentions. Moorhead was fine. Treated me great. I would have been fine staying there. I mean, this is new opportunity, better opportunity, so I'm with it.
You and I talked a couple times last year. You weren't even thinking of playing this time last season. Can you wrap your mind around what's happened in the last year and a half?
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey, opened up a lot of opportunities, and I'm just like thankful that everything happened the way it did.
So I want to go back to the end of last year. You guys had a dynamite run. Just to have the season you had and the way it ended with the Washburn game, what kind of taste? I know what kind of taste it was in your mouth, but just describe the kind of year you had. Like, okay, we're bringing everybody back. We can go and do it again.
No, I mean, it was fun. I mean, we had obviously we had injuries early. We bounced back. A little nice 13-game winning streak. 13-game winning streak. Won the tournament and went to the Sweet 16. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I had a great time.
In your wildest dreams, though, did you think, okay, the coach may leave? I mean, how much are you guys plugged into that after the season was done?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we didn't expect him to leave.
Yeah.
But being able to like play for him at the next level is like the best case scenario, and we just wanted to jump on it right away because like that was what we for sure wanted to do, just continue playing for these coaches.
And the fact there's a couple other guys coming with it, not just you guys. There's a few others. How easy has that made the transition as well, going to a new spot?
Yeah, I mean, it made it a lot easier being able to stick with some of the same guys, and like having those like core guys be able to like help all these other like new guys around us, like get them going the same direction all together. I feel like it's been a big help having all of us from Moorhead know what coach expects out of us, and we can help like all these other guys like figure that out along the way.
Logan, how eager are you, maybe not to prove to yourself that I was this good always, that I could play Division I basketball?
I mean, yeah, it'd be good. Like new environment, new teams, new people. Like so many people I've never seen before. I get to play against, prove them I can hang here too. It'd be a good experience.
Well, I think on the outside, we know it because we live in Moorhead. We cover the Northern Sun of how good a basketball league is. You were in it. Tell people how good is the NSIC?
I was in for 3 years. It was great. I mean, it's competitive. It always finishes at the top, like the national polls.
Right.
I mean, it's good. I mean, we can compete with other Division I teams. I believe, at least.
You went through it. I mean, I'm sure you were told about it when you got on campus, but then going through it. Granted, you made it look easy, but I mean, tell me for people that don't know how tough the NSIC is.
I mean, there's great players, and like you'll face every night in the NSIC. Like lots of D1 guys that transferred down, play in that league, and then like a lot of guys that are in that league get a chance to go play on the higher level. So like every night it's just a tough battle, and like great players all around it. So
how eager are you to prove to yourself too that you know what, I was under recruited, nobody found me, coach took a chance on me, I can play Division I basketball?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all along I've been confident in my abilities to play at this level. Now it's just like time to be able to show it. So.
Take me back to last year when he actually was he killing you guys in practice, or was this out of the blue for you guys too?
He was killing Jacob Benninga. Like they would go back and forth. Kyle would have his days, he would have his days. But like when Kyle went down, like we needed someone to step up. He stepped up and he was ready to go. Took it right away.
So were you guys surprised at all that he was doing what he was doing, or no?
I mean, yeah. But no. I mean, like he came in. First huddle, he was like, hey, like, let's do it. I got your back. Let's do it. I was like, all right, he's ready. Came out, banged a couple of threes, and he was ready to go. And he was, 22 points opening night. I mean, he's just killing from the start.
When we talked during the season last year about the success you were having, now that you can look back at it, I mean, do you still kind of like, wow, that was even beyond my wildest expectations?
I mean, I feel like I've been putting in the work to, like, be able to come out and do, like, have some of those kind of performances. So, not really too surprised, but thankful that everything happened the way it did.
How eager are you now? You've gone through practice to tell me about how the offseason has gone. Now take this out, and we're going to start playing games in the not-too-distant future.
No, it's fun. I'm ready to get to it. I've been wanting to compete since March, and I've been having to wait, but now it's slowly getting there. It's 3 weeks till we play our first game. Yeah. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Carson, what's this transition been like as well when you see the amount of guys you brought in from Moorhead, but you're bringing in 9 other guys from all across that? How much was the summer a big deal to gel, to get that going so that you could hit the ground running when practice started?
Yeah, it was a very important summer. All the work we did was like just super important leading up to this, and like you said, all these new guys coming together. It's gonna be tough to get them to play the right way all together like right away. So being able to like gel together, have that time, build that chemistry on and off the court. It was just like a big help.
This might be a Captain Obvious question. I'm going to ask it anyway. The fact when you get to play the Dakota schools, is that going to be a little bit more in your tank for those games?
I mean, I got the same for every game, but like NDSU, that'll be a lot of fun. It's like a home game. Got all the Moorhead guys that are going to come out. My family will be there. It'll be fun. Should be some red in the crowd there, hopefully.
How about for you as well? Just the fact that will those games have a little different than the other ones?
I mean, yeah, just being up at school first year, kind of around them. For sure, little bit of like that kind of home feel.
How about checking in on the Dragons? Will you do that as well to follow what the guys are doing?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, my brother's still on the team, so I mean, I'm still gonna watch and tune in the games.
What's he told you about what Coach Kemp is doing with MSUM now?
A lot. I mean, I think it'll be good.
Yeah,
I mean, they got a chance. They got a lot of new guys. It'll be yeah.
Will you allow yourself before I let you guys go, just to before that first game, to say, you know what? I'm playing Division I basketball, living out my dream. Will you do that before that first game?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I mean, that's everyone's dream going
Yeah,
up.
man.
And being able to like finally be here, it's a great feeling, and just super thankful.
Is there a game you got circled in the non-conference and you've seen like, oh, this might be fun?
I mean, they'll all be fun, but I think Arizona will be a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Arizona and Washington.
Yep.
That's some big time stuff going there. A little different than playing, Wayne State or Concordia St. Paul. Now you're playing those two schools. No slight to those guys. Those guys are pretty good. It's great to see you, boys. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck. We'll see you soon, all right?
Thank you,
Carson Johnson, Logan Kinsey joining us here on our Hot Mic streaming show from Summit League Media Day. We'll break. We come back. Bryan Petersen, South Dakota State men's basketball coach, on the other side of the break. Back live here in Sioux Falls on Summit League Media Day. Our coverage rolls on WDAY Plus and Forum.com. Please be joined by first-year head coach at South Dakota State, Bryan Petersen, joining us. It's great to see him, man. How does that moniker still fit when I say head coach? How does that suit you?
Pretty special, obviously. South Dakota State's a great place. I've been there for 6 years already, so going into year 7. So, it obviously there's a lot of familiarity, but obviously stepping into the new role, it still seems a little unreal that I'm in this position, but very thankful and very grateful for it.
So we're getting on the doorstep of the season. Tell me the first couple weeks of practice, how that's gone, and getting your team. You've gone through the summer, but it's different once September comes around and we're actually practicing.
Yeah, no, we just talk to our guys. We just got to keep stacking days. Doesn't have to be perfect, but every day we got to get a little better. And I know every coach says that, but I mean it really is about that. Especially now we start so early. I mean we start September 22nd, I think, or whatever that day was. And so it's just really important for our guys. We just show a little bit of improvement. Our guys are competing really hard. They're very coachable. We got to obviously improve in a lot of areas, but I do feel like we are growing as a group and getting more and more connected every day.
To have kind of the building blocks back with the Moores, Seiler is back, Kalen Gary is back, how much does that say, okay, here's 3 building blocks we can build our roster around?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, been watching a lot of film this summer and the fall, and even watching like practice film from last year at this time. And it's just really reassuring for me, like I'm watching a lot of guys that did a lot of great things for us last year, and just reaffirms like, hey, we got some really good core pieces back. They know what South Dakota State basketball is supposed to look like, how we go about our business. That's huge for me and our other new guys on staff. But they've really set the tone for us, and they're really bought in, and I'm really thankful that they're still on our team.
I know going back, and this is a different team with you last year and how the season ended, how disappointing is that knowing we're trending in the right direction, get an injury, have a clunker of a game in the Summit League tournament, say, okay, I got to get that taste out of our mouth right now.
Clunker of a game, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, that was tough. I mean, our last 2 weeks, it was a grind. I mean, obviously we weren't clicking the way we wanted to be clicking, and we were battling. Our guys were doing everything they could, and the staff, we were trying to find ways to kind of get us back rolling, and it just didn't happen for us. And so but in anything, like, you got to learn from it. So what can we do to hopefully prepare ourselves for that not to happen? And obviously injuries, you can't do much about that. But, I do think it's motivated a lot of our guys that have returned. It's motivated me a lot, especially being back in this gym and kind of feeling that again. It's definitely, something to learn from last year and how things finished up.
How exciting are you to say, okay, I'm on the end of the bench now. I'm the one calling timeout. How anxious, excited are you for that?
I'm really excited. I mean, it's, when you're assistant coach, you're part of the game. Hendo did an awesome job of giving us all autonomy to do some things, with our program, and but there's nothing different than obviously being the head coach.
Right.
And obviously, like, you're just more involved in the game, and I'm really looking forward to that. I was a head coach for 6 years. It's the best version, I guess you could be instead of being a player. But there also are some stressful things that come with that too. I do remember that now. But at the same time, I'm very excited to get on the sidelines and work with our staff and our players.
How much did that flood back of being a head coach before when practice got going?
Quite a bit. I mean, I don't know. It felt fairly natural for me. But at the same time, like, it's different, just certain moments when maybe you're kind of waiting for, whoever you're working for to kind of make the move on, hey, practice isn't going the way it should be. Okay, what's going to happen?
Stop things.
Yeah. Now that's me, obviously having to do that. So, but it's been pretty natural for me.
Describe building a schedule together in these day and age, knowing your program. How in the world do you get anybody to play you guys these days?
Well, it's a testament to the former players and coaches here. Going way back, Coach Nagy, TJ Hendo, and all the really, really good players. It doesn't really necessarily have to do a lot to do with me at all, or our
not
players.
Anymore, right? You used to have to do that, right?
But it was hard. I mean, honestly, timing wasn't great for us either. We had to get a lot of games this year in the spring when I took over, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard to get home games. I think it's hard to hard to get games in general, but I think as the rest of the Summit League, coaches we were talking about yesterday in our meetings, it's just hard to get home games in general. And that was something that we really tried hard to do this offseason. We didn't quite get as many as we wanted to, but I do think the things that we did this schedule, it'll put us in a really good spot this year and give our guys some great experiences, but then it'll hopefully set us up for a few more home games the following year, because that's something that we just got to get more of. First Bank and Trust is a tremendous place to play. Man. Awesome environment for everybody, included opponents too. It's fun place to play. So we got to get in there more. But yeah, it was hard to say the least. It was honestly outside the craziness of the transfer portal, NIL crap. Scheduling was right up there.
So last week the story broke that it looks like the tournament's going to go to 76. I've not asked you this. You a fan of that? Because it doesn't look like the Summit would get another bid if it goes to 76.
I'll be honest, I haven't really put a lot of thought into it. No. I've obviously seen some of the headlines. I just know we're one bid league, so all I'm focusing on is honestly, I'm pretty tunnel vision right now with our team. I'm just worried about practice number 11 tomorrow for us. And then, it'd be, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. If it'd be great for the game or not, I just don't think it'll have a whole lot of effect for us.
I know talking about playing, I had Justin Sell on my show about a month and a half ago about expanding the reach, going out, playing a game in Rapid City, playing a game in Sioux Falls. How big a deal is that to tap into Jackrabbit fans all across the state?
No, it's huge. We're playing down at the Pentagon twice this year. We're really happy about that. I mean, the Pentagon people do an awesome job. It's a really cool environment. Our fans down here in Sioux Falls are tremendous.
Fantastic.
And we got to keep growing it. It's got to keep building. This Rapid City thing was very cool for myself and our team. We spent a couple days out there. It was outside the outcome of the game. Everything else about the trip was great because our guys enjoyed being out there. It's a different side of the state. And then, it is still 5 hours to get over there. So it's not an easy trip for Jackrabbit fans to get over to Brookings all the time. So it was really cool for us to get over there. And hopefully we can kind of make that almost a annual or biannual event.
I was going to say, you want to do more of that?
Yeah, we would like to. I think we're going to maybe do some every other year stuff, because our women are going out there this year. But definitely, we had a great experience outside of this, the end of the game. Everything else about it was awesome out there.
I want to ask recruiting strategy, philosophy, how much are you in sync with what Hendo did, and how will you want to put your own spin on it?
Well, there's a lot of similarities. Me and Hendo and the rest of our staff work pretty closely on the recruiting part of it. I'm a big local regional guy. That's how I was at Kirkwood as a head coach when I got up to South Dakota State. That's our model, and that's what we'll continue to do. But we're probably going to have to dip into more JUCO potentially. Obviously, the portal will always be something we'll have to use accordingly in the springtime. But for the most part, a lot of it's going to be the same. There are maybe some subtle differences on certain positions and kind of how I like it versus maybe what Hendo did, but there's going to be a lot of the same stuff, to be honest with you.
You added Luke Hartle, a guy from Winona from the NSIC, and again, we cover the NSIC a ton on my show. We know how good the level of player is. What kind of guy is that can come in and maybe be a plug and play? He was a good NSIC player. He can be a good Summit League player.
Yeah, that's a great league. It's got really good coaches, really good players. So, I think it's kind of proven over the last couple years if you can really get some things done in that league, you could probably come in and contribute in the Summit League. And, we're really excited about having Luke. he's played a lot of games. He has a lot of, experience. Yeah. Obviously, he played a lot for Winona State, but, he had a lot of experience at Wisconsin, in practice. I know he didn't get on the floor a ton, but just – he's been around Division I practices, so we know he's competed against those athletes. And then obviously had a great year for Coach Eisner at Winona State last year. So those would be the kind of guys that we'll identify every spring if we need to add that to our roster. And we felt like we needed to do that with kind of some of the guys we lost, in the springtime.
Tell me about playing in Fargo. What do you like about those games with the Bison? And vice versa when they come to Brookings?
Well, it's one of our rivals. Yeah. And Coach Richman and that staff, they do a great job. It's always a tough game. I like that arena up there. It's fun to play in. Since I've been in the league now for 6 years, it's always a game that you're kind of just a little more juiced up for. Just because you're usually playing for something that's going to be pretty important, whether you're playing in January or February. The game's going to really, really matter. And I have a lot of respect for how they do things up there. So it's a fun place to play. And it's not easy, but it's definitely a fun place to get up there and compete.
Can't wait for that coming up. We got games before that, but we're looking forward to that one coming up after the first of the year. It's great to see you, man. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck this year, all right? We'll check in on Hot Mike down the road. Bryan Petersen joining us, South Dakota State first-year head coach. We come back. AJ's here. Aaron Johnston, head coach of the Jackrabbit Women, is coming up. We come back. Welcome back, everybody. We've saved the best for last as we wrap up our streaming show live on location in Sioux Falls on Summit League Basketball Media Day with Jackrabbit women's basketball coach AJ Aaron Johnston joining us here on location. I was giving Dave Richman a hard time. He is the dean on the men's side. You've got that on the women's side. That doesn't mean you're old, just means you've done it for a long time and been great. It's good to see you. How you been?
Good to see you, too. I think it means both. It does mean you're old and you've done it for a long time, so both of those are true.
We were visiting off air about being down here a couple years ago, what this event can be. and this is, I know you've been practicing for a couple weeks. Does this feel like the tip-off, though, of the basketball season?
It does. You know, our basketball season is so long. We're all summer. We start basically on the first day of school, and you're doing your workouts.
Yep.
You're just kind of grinding. This event kind of marks the beginning. You know, we have our first day of practice, but this means, it's getting real. We're going to have games coming up. We better get some things together here. So, and the league does a good job.
Yeah.
This is just such a good event for our student athletes, for our coaches to plant that seed, start thinking basketball. They've really worked hard at it, so they deserve a lot of credit.
So I saw the press release come out a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, man, this is going to be the first time in 4 years that Paige Meyer is going to be playing basketball for the Jackrabbits. Have you had to fully realize that you don't have her finally out there?
Yes, every day in practice. I just this used to be really good, and now we have to do it a little bit different. You have those, transformational players. That's somebody who can just do something. You might put them in an area, but they can do things that you wouldn't be able to coach or predict, and that's what Paige was. She was so talented, so creative. Her ability to use her instincts and make plays, it's just remarkable, and that's what she was for us. And I think people recognize, I really do.
Oh, absolutely.
But I still don't know if people realize just how good she was too. I think there's a little bit of both of that. So we're missing her, and I think that's fair. Got a lot of good players, but in Brooklyn Meyer.
I was going to get to her in a second here.
And so we're just so lucky that they've been able to play together.
Yeah.
And so lucky we've had them in our program.
How big a deal is it for you to get a professional player with Paige getting a chance to go play overseas?
Yeah, great for Paige. We've had a few of them, so that's fun to see.
Yeah.
People, if they really remember our program, Jenny Sonnenberg, who played with us years ago, she's still playing down in Australia.
Wow.
So she graduated, and she's made a career of it. So they get that chance to experience a different culture, experience a whole different way of playing basketball. A lot of them are going to go in or have gone into coaching, so it's just a way to keep building their resume. But she's having fun. She's over there. She's doing great.
All right, I want to talk about this year in a second, but I haven't had a chance to talk to you about the last game of last year. You've played in some unbelievable venues. You got to go to Connecticut, though, to see Paige Beckers and that team and coach against Gino Auriemma. What was that like personally for you?
Yeah, they were a pretty good 2-seed. I just keep reminding everybody of that. They were a pretty good 2-seed.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing there.
Yeah, first of all, Coach Auriemma, he's just a nice human being. He has a media kind of vibe. You might have an opinion. But, he was visiting with our fans that were out there the night before at a restaurant and,
That's
buying
awesome.
a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
So he's a very personable person. What they've built on a basketball side is really unprecedented, unmatched, and you can feel that walking in. You see the banners, you see the alumni sitting behind the bench, and you're like, I remember watching you play in the WNBA. You were pretty good. And they're all so ingrained and connected, and obviously the atmosphere is over the top. And their talent. I mean, they were so good last year. But great experience, hard experience. We want to figure a way to try and get one of those, but still a very positive experience.
And especially for your returning players, like Katie Vasika was out there, to use that as momentum coming into this season.
100%. I think those challenges, whether it's that tournament game last year, going to Texas, having Texas come back, all of those kind of things continue to plant seeds in our players' mind. Here's what I want to aspire to be. And I think that's fair. Can we be a Connecticut? No, I'm not saying. But I am saying they can aspire on game nights to go out there and play at that level and be there. So it's fun to have those opportunities, helps our program grow, and we'll keep trying to take them on.
I ask this, Bison football, I hear all the time about fighting complacency and being picked at the top. You guys haven't lost a league game in 3 years, and I know there's a lot of hard work that we just don't see it. How do you address that with the team, knowing everybody is picking the Jackrabbits to come in and dominate and win every year?
Well, we don't address as much as people think. We talk about today. We talk about what we can do to continue to be better. We don't talk about how we string years together, games together. That seems like a wasted exercise for me. As I get older, I don't remember those games as much as I used to. I don't know what the heck I would talk about. So we really try and stay focused on the present. And I know that's cliche, but that's a reality. It just absolutely is. And if you try and add these things up and carry that weight around, that's just a burden that I think is a distraction. So we keep it pretty simple, keep it on what we're doing, and that's worked out well.
You have a player that's worked out pretty well as well. You were talking about having Brooklyn Meyer back. Describe that luxury of what she's done. And how does she even get better this coming year?
Yeah, that's right, too. And I think from her freshman year to now, she does. She just keeps getting better and better. Her ability to finish, make free throws, she's more comfortable on the perimeter now. Just every part about her game gets better and better. And she is dominant. In the post, she can score, but she's a phenomenal passer. She creates a lot of offense for us. One of the best defensive players, rebounders in our league. So she's back for, I think, a really good senior year. Great leader. Her with Maddie Mathewitz, Ellie Kolbeck. We've got 3 really experienced people there that'll be our captains. And we really look for big years from all 3.
I've asked you this before when you've been on Hot Mic, because I have people ask me on the outside, well, how do the Jacks never lose anybody? They never, in an era where everybody's transferring, And I always answer, and I think you've answered this as well, well, where else would you want to go? We win all the time. Is that the best counter to the transfer portal, is what you guys do on the court?
Well, I think the overall piece of how they feel, the winning, the fans, the facilities, there's just a culture there. There's an overall experience there that I think they feel is really positive. Now, we did lose a couple of kids to the transfer portal this year. We'll see if that is a one-off or if we're going to have issues with that. And I think every team has to deal with that. But all we can do as coaches is make the best situation we can where we're at. If somebody wants to move on, you got to let them go. You got to move on yourself. But we've created something, I think, in Brookings that people enjoy being around, and it's helped.
I think she's not underrated on your team, but I think Maddie Mathewitz is back again this year. Describe her elevation as a player, where I remember last year at the Summit League tournament how many big shots she hit for you there.
Maddie's someone that has fit so well in our roster for 4 years. She's probably always been capable of a little bit more, but she's played with Paige Meyer, Brooklyn Meyer, played with Haley Timmer before. She's just played with so many good players. She's always been willing to fit. And this year, she'll still fit, but this year she's going to have to get more done and is capable of getting more done, as Ellie Colbeck. She's done exactly what I just described with Maddie. So I'm just really excited to see Brooklyn play, but those two seniors who have meant so much to our program really have years where it's their team and they get to be a big part of what we do.
We got a lot of viewers out in Western North Dakota that know about Bismarck's Brooklyn Falkley. What can you tell me about the freshman coming in and how that adjustment has gone so far?
She's doing great. That kid, I love her to death. She's going up against Brooklyn Meyer every single day. So that's just a great learning experience for her. But I tell you what, she is a good player, and she is so talented with her back to the basket. She causes Brooklyn Meyer all kinds of trouble down there, like maybe we haven't been able to do with a back to the basket. To simulate kind of thing, yeah. And so it's a great battle for those two. She's going to be a big part of our team as we continue to go forward. But she's got a great year right now being with Brooklyn Meyer for sure.
How big a deal of you sticking your nose, in my words, into North Dakota? Like, hey, we're going to go get a player if we think that's talented enough to come help our roster.
Well, we do that with any state. We've never looked at it and said, let's go to North Dakota. Let's go to Iowa. It's not that. We try and find people that fit, and we can help too. It's got to be both of those. And we've had some really good ones over the years from our surrounding states. And I think that's, going back to what you said earlier, a big part, again, of why people stay. They have family. They're committed to the area. There's other reasons why they're here, and that's a big part of our roster.
I saw you're easing up on the schedule this year with Texas and Duke. I know these are home and homes because you played them last season, but again, the attractiveness of that, of getting players to say, we're going to go play everybody. Doesn't matter where. And the fact you're getting Texas to come to Brookings.
Yeah, for sure. Our players love that. Our fans love that. I think it helps grow basketball in our area. There's a lot of young people that will come to those games and really aspire to be great. And so we do it for a lot of reasons. The competition is hard. Those are hard teams to play against. Then we also have got North Carolina, Kansas State, Columbia down in Cancun. So, I mean, it's a tough schedule. But those are fun challenges. Our team really looks forward to them. We learn a lot from them, and they just a lot of value outside of basketball.
How about Cameron Indoor Stadium? How excited are you for that?
That'll be
chance
great.
to play at Duke.
Again, tough place to play, but iconic place. Connecticut was an iconic place. Cameron's iconic. So just to get those experiences for our team, it's great in recruiting. It's great for just keeping people connected. But they're fun. And basketball, it's okay if it's fun too.
Last thing before I let you go, I always like to ask an overarching question on women's basketball, especially in this conference, since you know it better than anybody. Where are we at talent-wise? How different is it even from 5 years ago to where we're at right now?
I think everybody panicked a couple years ago when we all started losing some players and kind of got the sense that, this is really going to... I mean, look at, as much as we've talked about our roster, North Coast State is really good. And they've been able to keep their people together and add a few pieces to it. Some schools around us have turned their rosters over, but they've brought in some really good players. So I think there's always going to be an increase in a developing talent, at least on the women's side. That's what I've seen. Experience can be different. So you're always going to have new faces, and that's kind of hard because you want to see someone grow and develop.
Consistent,
Yeah, but as far as the talent goes and how we can continue to compete nationally, I think you're going to keep seeing us inch in a positive direction.
If the women's tournament goes to 76, do you think it's almost automatic the Summit League can get 2 teams? You've done it with 68. It would only stand to reason that you get 2 in at 76.
Yeah, not automatic, but I mean, I think there's a good chance of that. I think we've had teams over the years where there's been 2 really good teams.
Yeah.
We got to schedule well enough, we got to win enough in November and December. But it certainly opens the door.
It's great to see you, man. Have a great year. I know we'll catch up during the season, okay?
Appreciate it.
Aaron Johnston joining us here, South Dakota State women's basketball head coach. That's going to wrap up our coverage down here in Sioux Falls. Much more coming up later tonight on WDAY at 6 and 10. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you back in Fargo tomorrow.